So to start again,
It's recording.
I am the Rotary Public Image Coordinator for Zone 34. Started on July 1st, and it's a 3-year term. And working with my good friend George Robertson-Burnett, who is our Rotary Coordinator for Zone 34. And as we started working together, we realized that public image and the things that Rotary coordinators do with membership and strong clubs and everything, they're so intertwined. And so George's team and my team have worked very, very closely together around how we use public image to grow Rotary, to create stronger clubs. And today we wanted to talk about 3 words that keep coming up over and over and over again as we talk about club success, and about a special initiative that George and I are starting with our team next month. We'll tell you about that at the end of this talk. But George, I know there's 3 special words that we're going to talk about today. You want to go ahead and kind of tee it up for us?
Yes, certainly. I'm glad to. Good morning, everyone. Delighted to be with you and delighted to earn 2 Mingo points, despite the fact that I obviously can't win. This is terrible. I mean, what a waste of Mingo points. Anyway, I was actually listening to John Hugo at the virtual convention, and these 3 words that we're going to be expressing today came up during his talk, and meant an awful lot to me, and have meant a lot to me ever since I heard them say them. And so these 3 words are strong, vibrant, and relevant. So those are the 3 words that we're going to be looking at today. And we're going to start off with strong, and perhaps, Marshall, I'll hand it back to you to ask you what, in your opinion, is the main element of a strong Rotary Club.
Yeah, when you look at when you see a strong Rotary Club, you see a tight-knit fellowship of folks that have close relationships. And we know that relationships are developed through shared experiences. And so we know that as clubs work together and have folks that are highly engaged and spend time together, that's one of the important parts of the fellowship of the breakfast, lunch, or dinner. But then it evolves into the service and the service that we do together. So when you see a strong club, you see a sense of belonging, and you see folks that like to spend time together because they share values. And you know what great fellowship turns into, George? Retention.
What is it? Retention. Absolutely. A strong club will retain its members, and that's half of the battle with regard to a strong club is the fact if you can retain your members, and that's you ensure that by engagement. Engagement is the most important. I know it's a term that we've heard so often in Rotary over the years, but engagement is the key, keeping the members invested in what the club does. We join for different reasons, and if we're not actually having that fulfilled, it could be fellowship, it can be networking, but predominantly it's the fact that we do great things in Rotary, and that's what keeps us in Rotary and keeps us, I think particularly at this current time, there's a lot of challenges with regard to the COVID thing, and retention has become even more important to us. And so we've got to actually think of ways to retain our members, perhaps a buddy system where we're responsible to get in touch with other people in the club. And, an email doesn't do it. We've got to actually continue the conversation, keep talking to one another, finding out why people are not actually attending. It's so very, very important. And we've got to give value for the membership. That's very important, but we're going to cover that a little bit later. The other half of this club equation is growth, attracting. As I go around the nearly 800 Rotary clubs in this zone, one of the things that frustrates me the most is clubs are doing fabulous things, and yet when you ask them about their membership attraction program, there's nothing. It's nothing. It's just left to chance. It's a case of, Rotarians bring in Rotarians and we just let them get on with it. There should be an active thing within the club to actually attract people. It's so important that there's actually a plan. Or how about having incentives? We're very highly, motivated by, hey, win a bottle of whiskey. That's my favorite.
You're saying Rotarians are competitive?
Yeah, we're very, very competitive. If you put an incentive in there, You know, it's amazing how much harder we try, even with a little gift. The other thing is, how often do we mention membership and growth in our Rotary meetings? We should be mentioning that very, very regularly, because strong clubs have a plan to engage, retain, and grow. So Marshall, could you give us your thoughts on the relationship between Rotary clubs and their communities?
Yeah, you know, it's really important, especially as we look to the future of Rotary, that Rotary truly reflects the communities that they serve. You know, as we look at things like diversity and inclusion and equity, I mean, it's just so important that we really reflect the areas of the world that we're serving. And one of the other key things that we sometimes forget about when we're talking about diversity is the strength of Rotary, which is our classification system. I'll never forget President John Durham saying one of the true strengths of Rotary is that classification system, because it provides such a diversity of experiences across all the vocations. And that's how we started back in 1905, was folks from different walks of life getting together to do first a fellowship and then for service. And that's the core of Rotary. So George, any final thoughts on community Rotary relationship?
Absolutely. You know, so I'm so proud of my Rotary Club, and that's how we should feel. We should feel proud of our Rotary Club. But also, is your community proud of your Rotary Club? I know that my community loves our Rotary Club because of what we do. And of course, that takes us to let the community know what we're doing. And therefore, there is that link between membership and public image. You know, I certainly love my club, but sometimes I hear, love my club, but I wish it would do more. You know what? We can change it. We can change our club. If you're proud of your club and you want it to do more, then become involved. The reason that we need to actually make sure that we're strong in the community is that our community is also our sales area. That's where our membership comes from. And therefore, we've got to reach out into that community, make them proud of our Rotary Club, so that we can actually increase membership. So back to you, Marshall.
Yeah, you know, so we talked about the strength of clubs and how it's important to be a strong club. But, you know, the next word that George mentioned was a vibrant club. The last thing anyone wants to do is go to a meeting where everyone is it's just no energy. And I give kudos to those breakfast club meetings that you walk in at 7:30 in the morning and, you know, people are bouncing off the walls. I think Rich Turnbull said that he likes breakfast clubs that meet at noon. But it's so important that your club really have energy, because you're never going to attract folks into your club if it's just it's a snooze fest. You got to have that energy. George, what are some other hallmarks of a vibrant club?
Vibrant club, you know, as I go around, I see good clubs, bad clubs, but one of the actual aspects that I always see in a vibrant club is the energy that is in that room for the meetings. The meetings are so important, you know, that's where we all get together, and, you know, there should be vibrancy in that room. And that's certainly one of the things. The other thing that I notice is high participation. You know, everybody's invested in the club, involved in the club, and the club is doing the things that the members want. You know, every Rotary Club is different because it's a reflection of the members and a reflection of the communities that it's in. But members who are invested and energized by the projects and fundraisers you do, and if you're not energized by what your Rotary Club's doing, then suggest new things for your club to do. You know, if you can't, if they're not fulfilling your expectancy, then help them out. Make that club a little bit stronger and more vibrant by doing that. Marshall, could you tell us what public image looks like in a vibrant club?
Oh my gosh, it is. You know, when we say it's not, you know, telling your story is not tooting your horn. A lot of times we see Rotary clubs just afraid to tell the story of what they're doing. But it's so important that we tell those stories using public image, using social media, using our communication channels to let folks know what Rotary does in the communities that they serve. And we want to see that vibrant public image campaign and vibrant communications going out to the community to let the folks know this is what your Rotary Club is doing. This is what you want to be a part of. You want to be a part of something successful, making a difference in the world. You want to be a part of this Rotary Club. And so it's so important, you know, and that's kind of where the public image piece plays into all of this, is to tell the story of what your Rotary Club the value that it provides to the community that you're serving. I see a lot of great clubs in Rotary 6970 doing this. And those are oftentimes the very, very strongest clubs in our district, and just need to make sure that everyone be mindful that telling your story is not tooting your horn. It's just letting folks know what we do every day. So, George, I think there's one last word that we need to follow up. So we did strong, we did vibrant. What's that last word?
That last word is relevant. And, you know, that is so important. You know, for me, the chief relevance is to our members. We must be relevant to our members. A strong, vibrant club stems from members who feel relevant to the success of the club. You know, I'm part of a great club doing great things. You know, that's where that relevance. You know, we often say service of ourself. That doesn't mean to say there's no self. You know, self-esteem in being part of a very strong Rotary club is great. I don't know if anybody's ever studied Malthus, but he says self-esteem is the highest tube you can be in. You know, that's the great thing that we all strive for. I am so proud of my Rotary club because my Rotary club is relevant to my aims. And again, if your Rotary club's not relevant to you, then you need to actually be part of the process to make it relevant. Everybody has to be valued in a Rotary club, and everybody has value. That's how we feel about that relevance. So, Marshall, what other relevancy aspects do you think we need to cover?
Well, I just think about, you know, the relevance to the community means a lot of times our Rotary clubs are providing resources and services to those communities that if it wasn't for Rotary, they would go unmet. I see so many communities where it's Rotary that is, you know, feeding folks and providing needed equipment, supplies, providing just things that the community needs. And without that Rotary club, a lot of times those needs, like I said, go unmet. And so wanted to use this segue right now to talk a little bit about that announcement that I was telling you all about. So George and I, we've talked about these three words and how important they are. And we know a lot of clubs are using a lot of these strategies and they're very strong. But what we want to do is we want to continue this conversation. Today there's so many things to unpack out of these three words and so many ways that clubs are using these three words for strength. And so George and I, George always talks about the two fingers. What are the two fingers, George? How does that go? So George always talks about the two fingers. That's right. So George talks about the two fingers. Well, we're bringing it up to three fingers. So we're starting a three things webinar, and we're going to talk about these three words, and we're going to have a recurring webinar where we're going to invite folks from around the district and around the zone to talk about strength, relevance, vibrance, and provide the strategies. We've got a couple really great guests lined up for this first one on November 11th. It's at 6:30 p.m. You guys can go register for that webinar. But, you know, if any of you in the group today in 6970, if you feel like, you know, your club is really nailing club strength or club vibrance or club relevance, let us know, because there's one thing that we've learned, and that's that we learn from each other, and all of us can help each other grow and keep Rotary strong. And so go ahead and register for that first webinar. We're looking forward to having that on November 11th. Again, it's going to be me and George and our teams and talking to clubs and districts about how to keep Rotary strong. George, any parting thoughts around the strength of Rotary?
Absolutely. You know, these three words are very, very important to us now. But I wanted to actually leave you with something that I found very inspiring. As I travel around the zone, you know, I have to fly out to the islands and that, because, of course, the Caribbean's part of our zone. I was out in the British Virgin Islands, and on my way back, I landed in Puerto Rico to catch a plane to Orlando. And I noticed there was an earlier flight. So I went up to the desk and I asked the young lady, is it possible for me to get on the earlier flight? She noticed I was wearing a Rotary pin, and she actually said to me, she says, "Oh, you're in Rotary?" And I said, "Yes." She says, "Well, not only am I going to get you on that earlier flight, I'm also going to upgrade you. So who else here is going to wear their pin the next time they go to the airport?" But you know what? That's not my reason for telling you this story. The reason for telling you the story is the four words that young lady said to me as I walked away from that desk. And the 4 words were, "You Rotarians are awesome." I mean, just let that sink in for a minute. That is absolutely fabulous. And it's resonated in my mind ever since she said that. You Rotarians are awesome. So let's have an awesome day. I hope you have an awesome meeting. Marshall, I'm sure that you've had a similar experience to that.
I absolutely have, and it's right here in our own district in Rotary 6970. I remember going down to Crescent City for their Catfish Festival and standing on the side of the road as the parade goes by. It's always an exciting parade to watch in Crescent City for that event. And I'm there on the side of the road. I'm just a bystander, but I'm wearing a Rotary shirt. And as this parade goes down the road, this lady gets out of the parade, runs over to me on the side of the street and says, "Are you in Rotary? Thank you. Thank you for what you do for our community. You guys provided AED equipment so that it saves lives in Crescent City. You guys have provided playground equipment. Thank you for what you do for Crescent City." And I'll never forget. I mean, I didn't have any part in any of those projects, but she saw the Rotary logo and she knew the impact that Rotary makes on Crescent City. And like I said, there's a lot of communities like that across our district, our zone, and around the world where Rotary is making a difference. And people recognize that logo. It's so important that we wear the logo. And I say, you know, whether it's a pin or it's a crazy pair of pants, make sure you're wearing those logos, because people recognize that logo and they know what Rotary means. And we need to tell that story. With that, Rich, thank you for having George and I. Looking forward to continuing this conversation, like I said, around strong, vibrant, relevant clubs, and look forward to seeing you all around the district. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, George. And thank you, Marshall. I'm Mike Dara. I am the past district governor for our district. I am wearing, for probably my last time, my official Rotary blazer. The pants, now these I will wear again because they are the ones that Marshall designed, but the official theme socks for Connect the World. So we're here to recognize those clubs that did an outstanding job last year and won the presidential citation. The citation is an award that Rotary International gives for those clubs that have done crucial things for their club to help them grow and to develop as a vibrant club. So we're going to show you who has won the Rotary citation this year. And the winner of the Rotary citation is
Amelia Island Sunrise, Deerwood Jacksonville, Mandarin, New Smyrna Beach, Ocala Sunset, and St. Augustine. Congratulations.
So there are many of you that are wondering, why did I not get the Rotary citation this year? I thought we did. Well, some of you got a silver distinction for doing one of these 4 things: family service, personal or professional development program in your club, or posting on social media at least 4 times a month. And the final one, a favorite of mine, is adding 5 new members to your club, net. So who won one of those? And the winners are
DeLand, Edgewater, Jacksonville, Keystone Heights, Orange Park Sunrise, Riverside Jacksonville, and San Marco and Jacksonville. Congratulations.
And there are still some of you that are wondering, I thought we got it. I'm sure we got it. And there's a second category for getting 2 of those extra point things, and that is the gold classification. And those that were in the gold classification are...
Congratulations to Bartram Trail in Julington Creek, Daytona Beach West, Flagler County, Green Cove Springs, Jacksonville Oceanside, Ormond Beach, and Port Orange, South Daytona. Great job.
And now there are fewer of you that are thinking, gosh, I mean, how could he have missed us this badly? But you got the Platinum Award. That is getting 3 of those special distinctions and getting all the other qualifications. And those clubs are
Downtown Gainesville, Ocala, Orange Park, Palatka, South Jacksonville, St. Augustine Beach, and West Jacksonville. Way to go.
And now there is one other classification that Rotary does not recognize, but I am calling it the very much appreciated by the district governor Overachiever Award, and that for getting all 4 of those special areas of distinction. I don't know what we call it, maybe the Silver Jubilee with rubies on it, but that goes to one club, and that club is
Downtown Ormond Beach.
So for all of you who qualified for the presidential citation, my great appreciation and the appreciation of those in your club that are your members, because they are the ones that at the end of the day make Rotary what it is. Thank you. So we are going to take a 5-minute, international awards. Sorry. We have 3 awards from Rotary International. And I'd like to recognize those folks right now. They've already been recognized in their clubs, but they have gotten the 3 highest awards from Rotary International. They are called, first, there's a light right next to the camera, so if you see me squinting, it's because I look down from the very bright light and then look down and my page is just a blur. So the first for the citation for meritorious service is Marshall Butler. Let me just tell you what Marshall has done. Marshall, when he first joined in the year of 2006, he won the Service Above Self Award for his club, immediately jumped in. He started talking around the district about his dad, a polio survivor, and he helped people see the real life consequences of polio to help all of us who haven't experienced polio for at least 40 years understand the need in the rest of the world. He also was the head of our Paul Harris Society. He headed up that program. He rode on a 107-mile bicycle ride, which I'm sure the rest of you are just chomping at the bit to do to raise money. And he raised the second most, or actually tied with our international soon-to-be president of Rotary, Jennifer Jones. He also was a district governor, and when he was district governor, we did $1 million dinner fundraiser for Rotary International that raised $1.1 million. My thing that I'm amazed with was he, in his year, his district exceeded all other districts in North America for membership gains. So I appreciate Marshall Butler, who has done an outstanding job and continues to do great work both on our district and across our zone and into Rotary International. So Marshall, thank you with the citation for meritorious service.
Thank you.
The next person we'd like to, and if you could, I don't know if you're able to pin these folks. This person is special because he's near and dear to my heart. He helped us arrange our conference this past year, which, as you realize, never happened. But Ken Baker, who won the Distinguished Service Award, which is the second highest level, the citation is the first one. The second one, you have to have the citation to be considered for the Distinguished Service Award. There are about 100 of these, of both of these given every year worldwide. So Ken won the Distinguished Service Award and has done numerous things. He started our alumni network. He raised over $1 million for the foundation twice on our district. He was a district governor probably about 15 years ago, but continues to be one of the most trusted mentors among all the district governors. When you enter the job, you know you can go to Ken for great and honest advice. So Ken has continued to be one of those folks that, as Barry Rassin said, is one of those quiet folks that stays in the background, but just gets it done. Barry Raston, as you know, was the past president of Rotary about 2-3 years ago. So Ken, thank you. And we so appreciate you being the recipient of the Distinguished Service Award. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike, very much.
The final award goes to Ed Lacey. He's a member of the DeLand Club, who's been a member, Karen, what, 45 years out of his so far 90 years. At 90 years old, Ed is still involved in his DeLand Club and volunteers at every event they have, from being a ticket taker to whatever. He also was involved and the service above self recognizes not just what he's done in Rotary, but what he does for the community. He personally has donated a significant amount to the Boys and Girls Club. He arranged to build a new building for the Boys and Girls Club down there. He has touched thousands of adult and children's lives throughout the area, whether it's through the Boys and Girls Club, the United Way in DeLand, or through Rotary. He was recognized by our board of directors as one of our slightly more than 100, once again, across the world's 1.2 million Rotarians. 100 get recognized for the top award in Rotary International, the Service Above Self Award. So, Ed Lacey, our appreciation to you for outstanding service in 45 years and continuing on into the future. Thank you. We now will take a 5-minute break, and then we will come back. If you're going to be going into the membership sessions, they will be.
What about the Polio, TRF, and E-Ray awards?
Oh, we doing? Art? Is Art doing those? Okay, sorry about that. I'm looking down and at my prompter, who I have learned always follow Marie. That is one thing, always follow what Marie says. So, no, she's saying don't. So, okay, so Art McQueen, I turn it over to you.
Thanks, Mike. Marie, can I share my screen? I think I have. So once again, everybody, thank you so much. Another great year in foundation giving. And in this first short session, we want to recognize a number of the clubs that did a great job. So first up, the TRF Awards, or the Rotary Foundation Awards. And they're for clubs that had 100% of their members contribute at least $25 to any of the funds that make up Rotary's foundation. So $25, 100% of the members participated, any of the categories. So whether annual fund, polio, endowment fund, etc. So first up, Amelia Island and Bartram Trail, East Arlington and downtown Gainesville, Edgewater and Fleming Island, Orange Park and Jacksonville Oceanside, Orange Park Sunset, Orange Park Sunrise, Ponte Vedra Beach, San Jose, San Marco and St. Augustine Beach, and St. Augustine Sunrise. That's our 100% TRF giving clubs. Thank you so much. Next up is 100% E-Ray. Now, E-Ray is a little bit different. That's $25 or more per member. However, the club averaged $100 per member in annual fund giving. So this is a lot of the clubs are the same, because a lot of our clubs are all in. So Amelia Island and Bartram Trail, East Arlington and downtown Gainesville. And Bartram Trail, I apologize. I know it's Bartram Trail, Gillington Creek, but it doesn't fit on my screen. But great job. Edgewater and Jacksonville Oceanside, Orange Park and Orange Park Sunset, Orange Park Sunrise, Ponte Vedra Beach, San Jose, San Marco, and St. Augustine Sunrise. So thanks to all those clubs that gave at least $25 per member to the annual fund and averaged over $100. Next, we want to talk briefly about polio. And this is an award that I didn't recognize from the past, but we got certificates this year for each of our clubs that the club gave $1,500 or more to polio. And so we wanted to point this out. Sometimes we forget that polio is still part of our giving, and we want to recognize these clubs for their giving to polio. Amelia Island Sunrise and Bartram Trail. Are you noticing a trend here? Thanks so much to these clubs. Daytona Beach, Flagler Beach, Flagler County and Fleming Island, Gainesville and Gainesville Sunrise, Jacksonville and Jacksonville Oceanside, Keystone Heights and Mandarin, New Smyrna Beach, Orange Park and Orange Park Sunrise, Palatka and Palatka Sunrise, Ponte Vedra Beach and Ponte Vedra Beach Sunset, South Jacksonville and Port Orange South Daytona, South Point and St. Augustine Sunrise and St. Augustine Beach, and West Jacks. So how did we do as a district? Annual giving, $595,000. Per capita giving, $179.69. That means that every member, our 3,200, about 3,200 members in our district, we averaged almost $180 per member in our giving. Polio, $272,000. Grand total, $870,225. That includes any of our gifts and funds to approved grants and other specific projects that you can donate to. But we just wanted to say thanks. And I don't know if you guys can hear this, but this is a serious round of applause. So we'll have some more recognition for foundation coming up in the second plenary. Thank you so much for all you do. Thank you for continuing to support the foundation. The foundation needs your dollars right now more than ever before. And the grants that we're doing right now, the huge number of grants we're doing reflect the fact that we're willing to use the foundation dollars in order to make a bigger impact in our community. Thanks, everybody.
Hey, Art, we need you to stop sharing. Thank you for that presentation, sir.
I did stop sharing.
It's still your fault, Art. We all know it is.
Thank you very much, Rich.
Okay, folks, we're going to take a 5-minute break and split out into our workshops. So thank you all for coming. If you're in membership for the next session, just stay right where you are, stretch your legs. The others need to go out and come back into the other sessions. Thanks.
Okay, welcome to our membership session. I'd like to introduce, I am past District Governor Mike Dara, and the other co-chair for membership is
Hi, I'm Catherine Battenhorst from Rotary Club of St. Augustine.
And I'm from South Jacksonville. Today, we're going to have 2 membership sessions on this channel, back to back. The first one is going to be a panel of 4 of our most successful Rotary clubs. They will tell you what it was that they did that made the difference. Each of them will speak for about 3 to 4 minutes. And in between, we'll take one question. We have someone monitoring your chat. The second session will be about hybrid clubs. And both of these were requests from your membership chairs when we had a conference call about 3 weeks ago. And we asked them, what are the things your clubs want to know about? There will be 2 other subjects that each one of the folks may address, and that is, how do you do a socially distanced and safe social, and how do you do a safe service event? So Catherine?
All righty, but in this first membership seminar, we're going to talk about the clubs that are specifically represented. How did they grow their impact? They'll give you 2 or 3 key ideas that they've implemented. Most of these ideas have been in the works for a few years, so the leaders before these folks had these things growing and going. We'd also like for you all to share your ideas and share your questions, and we'll be saving the chat so that you can refer back to it later. So we'll go ahead and get started with those folks.
First thing, if you would, to test chat. Some of you have not used chat perhaps before. It is down. There's a chat button on the bottom of your screen, or if you have an iPad, touch the screen and you should be able to see something about chat on there. Fill in that screen, the little window where you enter in information. Put your name and put where your club is, if you would, please. We have someone monitoring the chat to let us know things. So let me know when you see a number of entries on there, Jeff, if you would.
Jeff is our official CM chat monitor.
Hard to hear my microphone. Okay, then I'll get it closer here. How's it? So I'm going to introduce our 4 panelists today.
Hey, Mike, we can't hear you.
There we go. Okay. So you have not heard me the entire time. I apologize for that, or you heard a poor echo. So the folks, I will repeat again, Jim Agee from Jacksonville will be talking. It's a club of 231 members, great retention. And also, I should mention, Jim may mention this, but they increased their attendance at meetings substantially, even during COVID. So Crescent City is the next one. Lucia Valdivia Sanchez will talk to you. They've done some really creative things. Next will be Roseanne Stalker from Flagler Beach, a club of 56 members. Bartram Trail is the last one. Gary Williams will talk to you. It's a club of 37 that about 8 years ago was a club of 18. So not taking any extra time, let us go ahead and bring up Jim Agee.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for having me. Thanks for the introduction, Mike. Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote, "Guard your spare moments. They're like uncut diamonds. Discard them and their value will never be known. Improve them and they become the brightest gems in a useful life." In other words, do not waste your most valuable resource, time. So I'm going to start with the most important thing I have to say. Do not waste your members' time. And I will try not to waste yours now. Mike Dara wisely asked me to stick to sharing just 3 main points that make the Rotary Club of Jacksonville a vibrant club. So here they are. We do surveys. We have a manual of policy and procedures that we actually follow and use. And we connect with our members. Colonel John Boyd was a fighter pilot that was instrumental in starting the U.S. Air Force Fighter Weapons School, Top Gun for you Navy and Maverick and Goose fans. He taught us a concept called the ODA loop: observe, decide, act, analyze, and repeat. After all, it is a loop. Observe. This is your surveys. They can be formal and complex. We in the Rotary Club of Jacksonville use the Rotary International website survey every 2 years, or they can be word of mouth. Just ask your members what they want while you're eating lunch with them. The results of our surveys consistently say our members want opportunities for professional networking, making a difference in our community, and friendship. Decide. This is where your team comes up with a plan, and your core team members are your leaders, your club president, your program public image chair, your foundation chair, and your membership chair. Our blueprint is our manual of policy and procedures. It gives us continuity, keeps us on track, and reminds us of our lessons learned. This way, each new president and his team does not have to make the same mistakes made by the previous team. ACT. The core event that we focus everything on is our program at our Monday luncheon. This is where we deliver what our members want. The program may be an opportunity to hear a speaker's message, engage with that speaker after the program, or have an opportunity to invite someone as a guest with whom they wish to develop a professional relationship. Most of our programs focus on our club's strategic goal of improving the quality of the health and education in Jacksonville. This gives our members an opportunity to discover the needs in our community so that we can give direction to our foundation or reinforce the good we have already done with our grants and community involvement. Finally, fun and interesting programs are an opportunity for fellowship before and after the luncheons. Analyze. How did it go? If a member or members are not showing up for the luncheons, then call and find out why and fix it. Our call and care protocols are centered on our committee chairs. That's a secondary reason why we strive to have every member in our club on a committee. The primary reason is committee membership results in engagement with and commitment to our club. I want to close by stressing the importance of choosing energetic leaders for your membership committee. I am the membership committee chair for the Rotary Club of Jacksonville, but I have 4 subcommittee chairs that are invaluable to me. They're Harrison Frazier, Development, Carter Funk, Vetting, Shelby Dorsey, Orientation, and Jenny Jett, Retention. We all work together to identify a potential member, make sure they will be a good fit in our Rotary Club, get them comfortable with the way we operate, and mentor them so the precious time they give us benefits the member and our Rotary Club. Thank you for the time, Mike. Back to you.
So, thank you, Jim. Now, is there a quick question I noticed, Jeff, for Jim? And by the way, folks in the audience, we're planning for you to share your ideas by putting them into chat. If something resonates with you, the whole purpose of this is for you all to be stimulated and put, I did something similar to that, write it in chat so that we will share that chat and show you how to save that at the end of the speech of this session, so you can save all of that and have it for later on for yourself and for sharing in your club. So I know we've got somebody that traveled all the way from DeLand today and someone else that traveled all the way from New Smyrna Beach. So I appreciate those of you who identified that on chat. That was an outstanding, traveling all the way here must have been at least, 2 minutes? So thank you. So our next speaker is Lucy Valdivia Sanchez from Crescent City. Lucia.
Good morning, everybody. I am representing the Club of Crescent City, and some of the things that we established to make our club more vibrant was that we established a process to recruit and invite our guest speakers so they could bring value to our meetings. We ask our members what is it that they want to know about or what would make our meeting more meaningful and interesting. And then we take advantage of our network, our professional networks, and invite them as guests. I have to say that COVID has been both a blessing and a barrier. We are in a remote area, and before COVID, we had a little bit of difficult time inviting prominent guests to come over and join us in our remote area. However, we started doing hybrid meetings, and then when COVID hit us, we decided to just go ahead and take advantage of the situation. So as the person responsible for inviting the guests, I decided to expand our horizons, and we have hosted guests from Rotary Clubs of Mexico, and to share our programs and what we have in common with our in our communities. I also invited a diplomat. I extended the invitation, the Consul of Mexico in Orlando, and he decided to agree and join us for a small little meeting. It was very informative because our club members were able to ask specific questions about how Mexico was handling the pandemic, and then what things we had in similar. We also involved all of our club members in revision of our bylaws, and then some of our newer members, we noticed that we had a lot of richness and wealth and history in our little club. So we started the archival project where we are documenting all of the great things that our club has done in the past. And then we're using that to spring us into the future and make our club more vibrant. So we are respecting and acknowledging, honoring the richness and tradition that our club has. And we're using that as a stepping stool to continue to grow. We also created the Facebook page and an Instagram, and we started telling our members how to make it more interactive, because they were so happy to see the pictures and things about the meeting, but some of them did not know how to let us know that they had seen it. So we do special sessions on how to let us know, just like it, share it, and promote with the great things that we are doing. So this has been a strategic plan. We are planning, we are acknowledging our past, and then we're moving into the future and taking advantage of the current pandemic and inviting guests from national organizations as well as government officials and people from abroad to join us. And that really has sparked the interest. Another thing that we have done to make sure that our members are included is we sent the invitation on a Friday afternoon with the bio of the guest speaker and their picture to make it attractive. And then we send a reminder again on Sunday morning. So when members are checking their email before they go to church or something. And then the last time that they get a reminder about the meeting is right at 5:30 Tuesday afternoon, because our meeting is at 6. And we did notice that some of our members were losing the link before the meeting. So in order to make sure that they are engaged, we just programmed the emails to go out and reach them right at 5:30. So when they're getting ready to join our meeting, 10-15 minutes later, the link is readily available on their in their last emails. And that is all that we have done. And back to you.
Thank you, Lucia. Are we on? Okay. Are we on now? Okay, I've turned it back on. Okay, can I have the other mic, Jeff? All right, let's see.
Mike, that's good. Mike, that's good.
You're hearing it out there? You're hearing it out there, Art, is that correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. I will try it. Thank you for, hey, here's a quick message for y'all. And this deals with the hybrid club. If you don't have somebody monitoring the chat in your hybrid club, the quality of what's going on in that chat channel, in that Zoom channel, is not very good. And you want to have a great program for everybody. That's one of the things we'll cover. So that's a little pre-advertising. And thank you for y'all letting us know what the problem was, and Art in specific for saying I was blasting away. Once I turned on, I was overcompensating. So thank you. So our next speaker will be from Flagler Beach, Roseanne Stocker. Tell us about Flagler Beach and the Bunnell satellite.
Thank you, Mike. It's just an honor to be here and tell you what's going on in the Rotary Club of Flagler Beach. If you've been to one of our meetings, you know that we have a very vibrant, fun club that is very engaged in service projects. But Mike asked me to talk specifically today about how we created a satellite club and why we did that. And maybe some of you will be inspired to do the same in your area. So a satellite club is all about growing Rotary by offering an alternative to what's already available. And I think some of you may have heard Holger Knock talk about every challenge being an opportunity, and that's what we did in Flagler Beach. So the challenge was that there were 3 Rotary clubs in Flagler County, very traditional Rotary clubs, a breakfast club, a lunch club, and a sunset club. All 3 were meeting on the east side of the county, and there wasn't really true representation of what was of the west side. Now, we did service projects over on the west side in the Bunnell area, but the members of our club were not representative of that community. So yes, we built multi-sport fields in Bunnell. We put in a path of exercise equipment around those fields. We did food distributions. We were swim lessons, surf lessons. We installed mailboxes, all kinds of service projects. But the community leaders in Bunnell were not Rotarians. So that was the challenge. So along came the opportunity of forming a Bunnell club in the form of one of our members, Tim O'Donnell. It was his idea. He came to the board and he talked about making this satellite club, and a lot of us had never heard of a satellite club. So satellite clubs offer all the benefits of Rotary, but usually less of a time commitment and less of a financial commitment. And that's the way we went about it. We launched the Bunnell Satellite Club to meet only 2 times a month and not require a meal. So it was just less of a time commitment, and you could have people that perhaps couldn't afford to be in Rotary join the Satellite Club. So who did we ask? We asked the people to join the Satellite Club who were exactly the people that we had gone to when we wanted to do these service projects. So it was the city manager, different ministers in the community, the chair of Habitat for Humanity, a fireman, the Housing Coalition director, the people that we had met through our service projects, and we convinced 8 people to become the charter members of the Bunnell Satellite Club. I think the key to success is that the host club has to be really invested in the satellite club. You can't just launch it and then not go. Rotarians from the host club have to commit to going, not always the same people, but especially during that first year, just to inspire the new Rotarians and energize that club. Because if it's a small satellite club, attendance can vary, especially in the beginning. And the benefits are that you are growing Rotary, you're getting to know your community leaders better, and that Rotary truly represents the communities that we are serving. So we managed to get much younger members in Bunnell and a lot more diversity. So that's really the future of Rotary. And a benefit I can talk about personally is that when I go to the Bunnell Satellite Club meetings, I get so energized by these 20-something-year-olds who are suddenly now interested in Rotary, a lot of social justice issues. At last week's meeting, there was a young woman who's very interested in green energy and sustainable housing, and she's joining the Bunnell Satellite Club. And for me, this is the future of Rotary. Those are the people we need to attract, and we need to just make sure that our Rotary clubs truly represent the community, that we're not just going into these communities, doing service projects and leaving. The future Rotarians are those community members. So yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up. Back to you, Mike.
Okay, you got me on?
Yes.
All right, is this coming through? Roseanne, is there a way we could put Roseanne on real quickly here one more time? And while we're getting Roseanne on the screen, I want to ask a question. We're monitoring everybody. Give me a thumbs up if the sound is good on your end. I've gotten feedback
that it's bad. I've gotten feedback that it's good. So here's another great thing for your hybrid club. Always have a monitor. He just said we got thumbs up, and then I'm holding it in the right place to not get overload. Thank you. Roseanne, question for you. We were asked, what is the difference between, what the difference in fees, cost, between the Satellite and the Flagler Beach Club?
So the Satellite Club is just paying the dues. There's no meal. So I'd say that it's about a third of what the Flagler Beach dues is.
Okay, so your dues cover both the roughly $80 for Rotary International per year, about $40 for the district, and then you've got some sort of administrative costs, so something on top of that, and that is what they're paying for their fees. That's for the Satellite Club. And then for the traditional club, although Flagler Beach has never been bounded by tradition, but for the more traditional Flagler Beach Club, you also add a food cost into that. Is that correct?
Yeah, food cost, and we encourage our members to be to give the $100 a year to the foundation. Yeah.
Okay, great, thanks. Going on to the next person. By the way, we have someone that came further than Ocala and New Smyrna Beach. I'm sorry, from DeLand. They're actually from Ocala. So Al Formella, you get the furthest distance that your electrons have had to travel to get to this meeting. So thank you. So from the Bartram Trail Club, a club of 37 members, that, as I said in my introduction, was about 18, I think 8 years ago when I was their assistant governor, and has been building ever since. Gary Williams. Gary?
Hey, Mike, good morning. Thank you. It is really tough following Jim, Lucia, and Roseanne. I'll tell you what, they've got great stories, and I'm not quite sure how to follow up those wonderful things that they do. You know, 3 things that we have, and I'll talk a little bit about each of them. We've got a solid foundation of people that really enjoy being with each other and serving the community. We've got very active and engaging speakers on our schedule, and we've got very well-attended social events and service projects. So thinking of those things, talking to some of the clubs out there that might be a little bit smaller, might be where we were several years ago, that foundation that you're starting now will pay off in 2, 3, and 4 years, because as you continue to hang in there and have good events, you'll attract more and more members, and people will enjoy being with each other. So focus on that solid foundation now. An active, engaging speaker schedule for your meetings is really important. That's the second thing that I would focus on. We have shared speaker schedules with other clubs. If you're interested in our speaker schedule, reach out to me and I can have our speakers coordinator send that out to you. Many of the speakers that we have at Rotary meetings are people that want to get in front of other clubs. Some of those speakers are local businesses and nonprofits that are looking for help. That's a great way to make service projects for you. They could also be people in your local community. So having that really engaging speaker schedule, I think, drives the desire for people to be in attendance at the meetings. And then the last thing I mentioned is well-attended social events and service projects. And I'm going to harken back a little bit to what George said. George mentioned whiskey, which is never a bad thing when you're having a social event. Many of us are bourbon aficionados in our club, and some of our social events and some of our fundraisers have been around pub crawls or bourbon tastings or trivia events or something like that. And Marshall mentioned the benefit of a breakfast club. We are a breakfast club at 7:30 in the morning. And believe it or not, even through all of this COVID stuff, we've had very, very strong attendance. We've probably had 75% plus attendance through COVID in our Zoom meetings. And, you know, building on that, the COVID situation that we've all been in, Lucia mentioned this a little bit too. In some ways, it's been a blessing for us because we've been able to give me grief times like this. We recently started a hybrid version where we've identified a location, where we can meet in the morning and have a hybrid version. But what's been really cool is we've been able to bring in via Zoom some of our past international exchange students have come in. We've talked to Rotarians from other clubs. We had a Rotarian on our meeting yesterday from a club in Ireland who's celebrating their 100th year anniversary, and their club members have been challenged to go visit 100 clubs. That was hard before the crisis. With the crisis and Zoom, it's a little bit easier. So those are the things that I would really focus on, especially for the smaller clubs that may be growing and looking to the future. Build your foundation now, develop an active speaker schedule, and focus on social events and service projects that are meaningful to your club members. I think we may be waiting for Mike or Rich to come back up. I'll share one more thing real quick while Mike comes up. One of the things that we've started doing that's been fun lately at our Thursday morning meetings via Zoom is we do 2 truths and a lie. And what we do is we focus on one person and they give us 2 truths and a lie. And we do a poll on Zoom and get people to vote. And it's a great way for people to get to know other people, even when you can't meet in person. So Mike, now I'll give it back to you. I see you at the podium.
Okay, thank you, Gary. And by the way, Gary, thank you for knowing how to run a good meeting, because yes, I was down talking to our chat monitors and you sensed we need to carry on, and you added in a very, very valuable thing there. So I'm going to ask our chat monitors, Catherine Battenhorst or Jeff Michaelman, do we have questions for the panelists?
Yes, Mike. So one of the questions was how were the satellite club members engaged? That Roseanne was mentioning. How did they engage the satellite club members?
So just as good practice, I'm going to go ahead as if this is coming from someone without a microphone so the people on Zoom can hear it. How are the satellite members engaged? So who do you want to direct that to?
That's to Roseanne.
To Roseanne.
Okay, so I just did type an answer to that in the chat, but I will go ahead and say that the type of speaker that speaks at the satellite club is very targeted to that club. So I think that the members are inspired by the speakers, but they're also, the engagement happens because they're able to meet Rotarians that are like more experienced, and they get inspired to know that there are people in the community that are like-minded, that have energy and want to get these things accomplished as well. So that's inspiring. And also, we just applied for a successful grant from the host club, but it was really all about an idea that came from the Bunnell Club. So by our host club, first of all, the members put in a lot of money. We took it out of the club budget. I think for the Bunnell Club members to see how serious we are about supporting them and their ideas and putting our energy behind what they are passionate about, they are inspired and they are engaged. And again, it's not a magic bullet. This really does take time. It takes energy. It's a process over a couple of years. It's a little more work if you're president. I feel that it's really, really worth it though.
Okay. Catherine, I understand there's another point about satellites.
Yes, it was mentioned that they want to just talk about the fact that satellites sometimes actually become clubs. Amelia Island Sunrise started a satellite a few years ago, and they're going to be chartered soon as the Rotary Club of Nassau County. So, but to Roseanne's point again, that you gotta take care of them, and they're a club, part of their club.
I'll mention one other thing, because this can have an impact on membership. Right now, starting this year in January, there is a major effort called the Innovative Club Advocate Program. It's for all across North America. From Georgia to Florida to the Caribbean, that zone has 2 advocates. I am one. The whole reason we are putting that together is we have found that those districts that start new clubs have found ways, just like Roseanne said, to appeal to different groups that might not otherwise be interested in Rotary. You'll hear in our second section, the Northeast Florida Club. They have also found a way to use something similar to that not exactly a satellite, but they found a way to appeal to a subgroup that wanted something different. They created that, and they had substantial gains. Okay, so do we have any other questions for, I'd like to ask with Jim Agee. Now, with large clubs, we've got a number of large clubs, but Jim, I'd like to come back to you. You mentioned those things that you did long-term to work on strategy. That's, by the way, that's not a Jim. but Roseanne, we do enjoy seeing you. We're not, there we go with Jim. Jim, when you all started your strategy effort to figure out who your target audience was, how long ago was that you started?
That was, my sponsor was General John Fryer, who was our superintendent of public schools, Duval County Public Schools. And he started the strategy during his administration. So that was, man, not quite 10 years ago, but somewhere between now and 5 and 10 years ago, laid out this strategy that we were able to implement under Tom Bryan. That's the awards that we got for membership came under Tom Bryan's leadership, of course. And Jerry Kelly, our current president, is just following in his footsteps. So we've had 6 or 7 presidents in a row with the people they choose to be their public image program chairs, their foundation chairs, and their membership chairs stay on that track. So hopefully that answers your question.
So, okay, so we're running, this the last clarification I'll make here before we take another 5-minute break. But having followed the Jacksonville Club, I realized at just about the time that Jim was talking about, Jacksonville was in a slow decline. It was by focusing on that, and it took about 3 years to get a turnaround going. And one of their presidents, and it was not just one president, but a series of presidents now with Jerry Kelly, that has been what it's taken to keep building on each other and get that slide slowed, stopped, and now the battleship, if you want to use that analogy, the battleship has turned and it's steaming. And I am not sure that we're the best in the zone for large clubs, but we're pretty doggone close with Jacksonville. So if you're not seeing results immediately, it just means keep going. So we're going to take a 5-minute break, refresh that cup of coffee, and then we're going to be back with 5 panelists to talk to you about key things in a hybrid club. Talk to you in a few minutes.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and start. Want to make sure everybody out there can hear us. Can we get a little bit of feedback, some thumbs up? Or getting that?
We got thumbs up?
Excellent. Okay. Good morning. I'm Catherine Battenhorst. I am one of the membership co-chairs for District 6970. And this is
Mike Dara. I'm past district governor and, more important, membership co-chair with the incredible Catherine Battenhorst.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike. So we are going to be talking today about creating engaging and fun hybrid meetings. Today's goal is we want you guys to engage. We want to engage you, and we want you to engage with everybody else who's here. We're going to share 5 speakers to stimulate your ideas, and we want you to share your experiences, your questions. And when I say experiences, things that have worked really well and things that have perhaps been a challenge and didn't work as well. So we want you to use the chat, and I think you guys have been really, really good about that. If you weren't in our last session, if you would please put your name and your club in the chat now. So we'll go ahead and keep things rolling. I'll turn it over to Mike to tell you a little more about our presentation.
So the key things about any meeting are you have to pay attention to the 2 most important things in Rotary. And I'm going to do a quick mic check for a show of thumbs up, just because I've got a different microphone. Thumbs up if you're hearing it, and if it's clear. Great, thank you. The 2 key things, you've got to connect people. That network of Rotary is crucial. And you have to find ways to engage them so that they're excited about engaging their passions. So what's different about a hybrid than a traditional club? Well, first thing is you have to realize that you have two channels. One is a Zoom channel, one is an in-person club channel. And I will be honest, when I've gone to clubs, I have seen a preference for an in-person channel. We on the Zoom channel couldn't hear because there was a microphone in the club that was booming, so we couldn't even talk before the meeting. Things like that. And the killer was when I went to one meeting, when someone turned to the folks on Zoom and said, "We're really looking forward to when you can rejoin the meeting." That is not a hybrid meeting. So paying attention to each one of those channels, as we have tried to do today, and play to the strengths of each channel. Zoom is not a replacement for an in-room meeting. Zoom is its own opportunity to have a great time. How do you know if you've succeeded? Well, one of our speakers that you're going to hear said, my goal after every meeting was that if they didn't go, they tell their friend, I missed the meeting and I really regret it. I don't know who was talking about me now. So back to you, and I'm going to go down and monitor the chat.
All right, thank you, Mike. So today we are going to talk with 5 folks who are going to talk about how to connect and how to engage using the hybrid, which is both in person and on a virtual platform. Today, I'm just going to go ahead and introduce all 5 right now so you know who's coming up. We're going to have engagement, making it fun, with Jody Henson from Amelia Island. She's a past president. We're going to have speakers from anywhere, talking about how to get speakers from all over the place. Jenny Van Hart from the Gainesville Club. She's a past president as well as a current assistant governor. We're also going to have Randy Bowman from Orange Park Sunrise. He's current Orange Park Rotaract president and a member of the Orange Park Sunrise Club. He's going to talk about cameras and Zoom connect, not isolate. And we definitely appreciate those tech people. I appreciate tech because it's not my strong suit, but I appreciate all you who are doing that. Thank you. Thank you. We also have Dale Moe, the King of the North, Jacksonville. He's a past president, and he's going to talk about safe service that is fun. And we're going to have our very own marvelous Noni Larson from Fleming Island talking about socials that create a shared experience. They have a shared experience social coming up this evening. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Jody Henson. Again, she's from Amelia Island, and she's going to talk about how to make it fun. Jody.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for having me. It's great to see everyone. One of the things that we wanted to do when we had to go completely Zoom, and then we continued a little bit thereafter, was making sure that we engaged members in things that were about them. And as I mentioned to Mike, you know, we all as basic humans like to hear our names being said, and we like to see our names in writing. So we implemented a fun little game called A Little Known Fact. And we had folks submit little known facts about themselves. And one of our members created a SurveyMonkey survey that went out each week with 4 of those little known facts. And there was a multiple choice answer of who was this little known fact about, and it would name 4 or 5 members. And the folks taking the survey got to vote, and every Friday morning at our meetings, we revealed the answers. And of course, we made it a little fun and made it a competition as to who could get the most right answers after a period of 6 or 9 weeks. So everyone got to see their name in lights. They got to submit something interesting about themselves. And more importantly, we learned some very interesting facts about our fellow members and things that are memorable and really a lot of fun. So that was one way that we managed to engage everyone in the club.
Okay, thank you, Jody. And we appreciate you kind of stimulating those ideas. Folks who are out there watching, if you guys have ideas, different things to make meetings fun, to make service fun, please do include that in the chat, and also provide your name and contact information so that other clubs can get in touch with you and benefit from these ideas. There are so many neat and creative ideas to help us have engaging meetings, both in person and via Zoom. So Jody, thank you so much for sharing that. Next, we're going to have Jenny Van Hart from Gainesville talking about how to get speakers from anywhere. Jenny, are you there?
I'm here. Good morning. Well, as you heard, I have several hats, and one of them, foolishly perhaps, was the program chair for this Rotary year. And so Zoom has enabled me to not limit myself or my speakers by geography or time zone. Anyone could be a speaker in our club, and we haven't had to have them personally in the space anymore, and it's been quite freeing and quite exciting to explore. To find my speakers, I basically troll social media, our district's Facebook page, Instagram, whatever, our zone, other clubs. And again, not limiting myself to Florida, I have certainly poached possible speakers from the Bahamas, from the UK, anywhere and everywhere, all around the country as well. And I'm certainly not limiting myself to Rotary organizations. So I follow quite a few other organizations that are interesting and are also passionate about the world. So I can contact them. But the nice thing about a Rotary organization is that you're a Rotarian and they're a Rotarian. So I'm able to reach out to them as Rotarians and just ask them to connect me with their awesome speaker. The worst thing they can do is say no. And I've had very few no's. One poor excuse was that it was like 2 o'clock in the morning their time when I asked them to speak. And I kind of get that. But honestly, we have had speakers from the UK, a couple of speakers from the UK. We've had an American Ninja speak to us from South Carolina. We've had speakers from Connecticut, New York, Pennsylvania, Delaware, and all over Florida. No one has to come to our meetings, so it's kind of refreshing. Coming up with the rest of the year, we're going to have someone presenting from somewhere between Texas and California. We're not really sure. Amsterdam, North Carolina, Ohio, and who knows? I've still got a few spaces left. I think I have 12 meetings left to fill for the rest of the Rotary year. Our first in-person speaker will be for this Rotary year actually is happening this coming week. So we haven't had a speaker in the room with our members, the 30 or so members who are currently attending in person, to speak in person. And when we're doing it, we have cameras focused on the speaker and as well as the participants. I will, all our Zoom meetings are recorded, so I'm going to post in the chat our YouTube channel. So feel free to, again, troll us. Go and see who you think would be really good as speakers and then reach out to me. I'll put my contact information in there as well so that we can share the joy, and that's really it. It's been fun and certainly freeing. I have been a program chair in the traditional format, and this is way easier, not having to limit myself to geography at all. So make it fun. That's my last comment.
So Jenny, I'm going to ask you one quick question. You're not hearing me. Can I borrow yours?
Mike, I can barely hear you.
So Jenny, I'm going to ask you one quick question. I noticed from your accent, are you from the southern hemisphere of our district?
The deep south, yes.
Deep south. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Back to you, Kathy.
Thank you, Mike. Yes, and thank you, Jen. What a great example of how you can join us from anywhere, as most of you are. So this next one, I really like this introduction. Cameras and Zoom connect, not isolate, and that's really what we want to do. So we're going to have Randy Bowman from Orange Park Sunrise. Randy, please share some information with us. Turning it over to you. We can't hear
Unmute,
you,
Randy.
Randy. Oh, let's see. You're backing up, checking it out. Well, you're not muted. Your microphone perhaps is not engaged, I'm hearing. Oh, it's. Your dresser is gorgeous behind you. I really like it. You know what? What we could do, Randy, is come back to you. And we're hearing when in doubt, log out and log back in. But who am I to tell you how to do tech? But how about if we go over to Dale Moe, the King of the North, and we'll come back to Randy. Dale is going to talk to us about safe service that is fun. And Dale is fun just by nature. So there's Dale. Dale, take it away, please.
Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me? All right. Okay, well, thank you. Glad to see everybody this morning. Welcome, and great to be a part of the greatest district in the world, 6970. Some of the projects that the North Jacksonville Rotary Club has worked on, especially during this pandemic and you know, with COVID and everything going on, it's hard. It's been hard for a lot of clubs to stay engaged and to stay, like we said, we've talked about throughout this conference, is stay relevant. One of the things that we've done is at the North Jacksonville, we're a small club, but we've continually done high impact community projects. As we know, there were a lot of people that were unemployed at the height of the pandemic and sort of the beginning of the pandemic, and that created a number of civic issues such as food and employment and just a bunch of other things. So what we were able to do was find high impact projects. We created hand washing stations. We partnered with Farm Share, and we've done a number of hosting feeding events where we open to the community, and you know, from truck to trunk type things. The thing that we found from these projects were, like I said, they had high community impact, but these are projects that we were able to stay outside. These were projects where we were able to follow the COVID guidelines as far as social distancing from other, wearing masks, having gloves. So we were still able to do high value impact projects to the community and still stay within COVID guidelines and have a direct impact on our community, and showing, most importantly, showing our community what Rotary is all about. So those are the things that we were able to do. Like I said, I can't remember half of them now. Well, we did so many things that we ginned up really quickly that we're able to have a high impact in the community for people to see that, hey, look, Rotary's here and Rotary's is here to help. And right now we're looking at, in the midst of this pandemic, just this month, we're looking at taking in 3 new members, but that's just from the projects that we've done. So some of those people came and joined and helped us and got involved with those community projects, and then they decided to join our club. So, you know, look for high impact projects. A lot of things like I said, we're outside. Okay, we're actually able to go out, and we don't have to worry about being in a confined space around others. And then we're able to easily socially distance and still get the work done and still help the community. Okay. Does anybody have any questions?
Dale, thank you so much. And I want to say great projects. Mike was talking about putting food in folks' trunk and being able to socially distance and things like that. And those sorts of service opportunities, like you said, Dale, it engages your current club members. It gives an opportunity for folks in your community to say, ooh, those people are having a good time and they're doing good things. I want to be a part of that. And those are the things that we're looking at in membership, not just getting folks that are a good fit for your group, but also engaging them and keeping your Rotary family happy and wanting to continue to be there. So, so holding on to those members by doing exactly what Dale was talking about and what everybody on our panel has been talking about. We're going to go back to Randy, and he's been doing some troubleshooting. So Randy, I'm going to see how things are going.
Randy?
Okay, Randy, we're not hearing you. And this is good exercise in working
morning.
on. There he is.
All right, finally. Yay. All right. Here I am talking about hybrid meetings and what type of technology to use. And we have tech opportunities. Sorry. So one thing I would like to just kind of correct is that I am now past Rotaract president for Clay County. I know Lauren is listening, and I want to make sure she gets credit for this current presidency. So great job, Lauren and team. All right. So I got a couple of things to just kind of point out, and I'm going to actually put it into the chat box. A Google Doc that everyone can access. In that Google Doc, you're going to find 2 examples of affordable equipment that I recommend you to look into. One's a 360 camera and the other is a 360 microphone. Keyword is 360. You want to be able to capture the room in its entirety, so the individual via Zoom can have a crisp, clear environment, and they can actually feel like they're in the room, and that they're just not, the camera's just not pointing on the speaker at all time. You can actually Zoom the entire room where they can kind of get the feeling of who's there and feel like they're part of it. The other part of that in the side of Google Docs is going to be 10 steps that I recommend. And I'm going to focus on 3 of the 10 right now. Step 2, you need to find a team. Select a team. You can call them a hybrid tech team, whatever kind of creative name you want, but they need to be the responsible party to conduct the Zoom meeting. They need to be stationed at the computer at all time during the meeting so they can control the 360 camera, ensure that the individuals via Zoom are getting a clear, crisp meeting. If there's any issues with the microphone, you can react to it. They can respond to the chat line. They can interact with the Zoom participant. They can conduct polls, and they can provide a couple of links where the individuals can participate in Happy Dollar. And additionally, they need to make sure their meetings are being recorded. So one, they can go back and kind of correct any opportunity after listening to it that needs to be for the next meeting. Also, you can send it out to the club, and those members who weren't able to participate or be part of the meeting that day can go back and be part of it. Very critical. The other thing is to ensure that you're buying the equipment to the Wi-Fi bandwidth within your room. So understanding what your Wi-Fi in the meeting room bandwidth is critical, because you want to make sure you get the right equipment, and getting the right equipment to fit those opportunities or the needs of that Wi-Fi bandwidth are very critical. And third, you got to have a committed team to actually go back and constantly send out reminders about Zoom, work with your program chair and work with your membership chair to make sure everyone's having an amazing experience. That's kind of like my 2 cents. Apologies for all of the hiccups this morning, but I'll throw in the Google Doc. If you have any questions or any suggestions additionally to what we're doing, I'll throw in my cell number where people can reach out as well. Thanks for having me this morning.
Randy, can you hear me on this, Randy?
I can.
What was it you had to do in order for your audio to come in?
So I logged in on via Zoom on my phone as well as my computer. And so I had my computer unmuted and my phone muted. So I just had to change the mute button.
Okay, so it's good to know that even somebody who knows how to solve massive issues with Zoom can still not find the mute button.
Absolutely.
I feel so much better. And that's
All right.
almost like not finding the on switch for a microphone. Thank you, Randy.
You're welcome. Bye.
So I've got a question, and it is a technical question. We also have Marshall Butler on the phone with us. Randy, a quick question for you. How do you avoid Zoom bombing? And I can just say, I have experienced it where someone came on It was real frankly, white supremacists came on when we had a speaker who was an African-American with her doctorate in a certain area. Within 1 minute of her starting, it was awful. They grabbed hold of the screen. They started cursing. They started throwing out all sorts of things. And at that time, all we didn't think of locking the room or anything. We just shut down. And so
that was the best.
So how can we avoid those situations though?
You got to make it as secure as possible, providing passcode and making sure your Zoom attendees enter through a waiting room. And so no one can enter unless the person sitting at the control panel admits you. And so that's one thing that we do in our club. We did not do that at the beginning. And then we were told about this experience. So everyone enters through a waiting room. We have to be a minute to be entered. And so sometimes there's a delay depending on if we're in the middle of the four-way test or the prayer or the pledge. Other than that, we try to pre-screen them before we allow them into the room.
Marshall Butler, could you also come on and give us, I saw that you put in your tips, which are really good tips. We're hoping that getting the background information in this meeting today would allow people to look at those tips. I'm not sure if you can come on and talk to us, give us any further information about whether it's Zoom bombing or one or two crucial tips, since you've been doing this on the zone level as well.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is it's an evolution, and it may not be perfect the first time you do it, but you continue to improve and add equipment or experience. West Jacks Rotary, we've been doing it a couple of times, and every time we learn some new tips and tricks. And I think Randy did a great job highlighting a lot of those. But one of the most important things is, people they'll give you a pass on bad video quality. They will never give you a pass on bad audio. No one's going to stick around to listen to choppy static. And so audio is the most important thing. So always be very cognizant of a good audio experience. The other thing is making sure that you provide context for the folks that aren't there. You can have the one camera pointing at the front of the room, the podium, but maybe you have another camera pointing the other way. Mike, I know in South Jacks Rotary, you guys are using a phone on a podium. And I think that's a really easy way to do it, is get a tripod with a phone mount and just use someone's cell phone and log into the Zoom meeting and point it back to the room so people get that different perspective of what's going on in the room. And that's a really easy way, whoever's controlling Zoom, to flip back and forth between the speaker, what's going on at the podium, and then, hey, look at that. That works. Yeah, I know there's all sorts of high-tech fancy equipment in that room right now. But like I said, the key is just go ahead and get started, add equipment, add different pieces until you get that right mix. And it's going to be different. I mean, small clubs, large clubs, everyone's going to have a different budget, but just put together a plan. And that streaming guide does have a couple of different setups, one that's a very basic one that's a little more complex, and then one that's pretty advanced. So yeah, just follow that guide. For Zoom bombing, yeah, the key is do not, I'm a public image guy. I love to spread the news of Rotary and tell folks, about Rotary, but don't put your Zoom links on those pieces that are going out to the world, because that's where people find those links. And if you don't have the waiting room, or I've seen people put the Zoom link and the password in a public image post on Facebook. you just gave it away. You're opening yourself up for some pretty nefarious behavior if you do that. So make sure you know who is getting those Zoom links and control that. And I guess if you have perhaps people that want to visit your club, have a method for them to let you know who they are, if they are a legitimate visitor to your club, to get them out of the waiting room. But no, it's exciting. It's exciting to see the new hybrid world, and it just creates great opportunities for us to allow folks to visit and engage, and people that may not be able to participate because they're out of town or work-life balance, or maybe not feeling well, we can still attend our Rotary meetings. So I think that's a fantastic benefit of what's going on right now.
Well, thank you so much, Marshall, and thank you, Randy. The technology piece, of course, is huge, but thanks for sharing some lower tech options just with using an iPhone, or some of those higher tech options to hit all different levels of capability and financial capability. So the last person that we have to talk today is socials that create a shared experience, and we have our very own Noni Larson. So she's here to my right. I'm going to hand her the microphone.
Thank you, Catherine. Today, I'm going to talk to you guys about something we've done with the Rotary Club of Fleming Island. As you know, we're all a breakfast club, but we kind of like to drink things too. So you come to our meeting sometimes, we occasionally have champagne. Anyhow, my husband and I are members of the wine club at the yacht club. And when the COVID started, we started having our wine club do things virtually. We'd go pick up our wine, and then we'd have the wine member out there discussing it, and we did all this via Zoom. After we had that very first one, our club went to go clean our local food pantry, because they had been wiped out of so much food. They started to look around and go, oh my, this really needs to be cleaned. So we went there and we cleaned the entire day, cleaned up the food pantry. And so while we were there, I kind of got this idea, because they really needed more supplies, and I like to drink wine. I asked a local member of the yacht club, and he's now part of an honorary member of our club, David Judy of Riverside Liquors, to see if he would be willing to take what we do at the yacht club and do it as a fundraiser for the food pantry of Green Cove Springs. Well, in 2 weeks, we managed to put this whole fundraiser together. We had almost 200 people participate, and we raised in 2 weeks over $5,000 for the Green Cove Springs food pantry, which was pretty amazing for a club of about 25 people. As a matter of fact, we're doing another one tonight. Hey, we're doing a beer and cider tasting for our free dental clinic. And for all of you guys are out there today, it is World Polio Day. So we're also raising money for Polio Plus today while we're doing this. And we're going to be drinking 6 beers and 2 ciders. So if you don't have anything else to do tonight, you can let me know. We still have 10 left. So anyhow, but if you guys need some other creative ideas, our club is not huge, but we do like to do some things creatively. And we also are very, very blessed to have some very technology savvy people in our club. And then you just have crazy people like me who like to drink. But if you guys have any questions on how to do this, I've actually now done this now for a couple of different groups, where I've actually helped Quigley House, which is a group in Clay County that has a service. I've actually set it up for 3 different groups. So if there's something you're interested in, I can help you with some ideas for that. Please just let me know. Thanks so much.
Noni, could
Yes.
you also ask folks, I'm not sure if this mic is on, but ask them to put what they have done.
Oh, yes,
social
please go ahead.
service event,
Mike wants you to
that
put it up
in
on the chat. Anything of your service that you have done or creative things that you've done during COVID to be a little bit different. I'm also going to put in one plug because I haven't gone over my 3 minutes. They were talking about how speakers are so far. My daughter was part of the Roosevelt group that was in lockdown and got put into quarantine for several weeks. And she was actually able to speak to 4 different Rotary clubs from Guam in quarantine. So that was kind of a very neat experience. And she's a past interactor and Rotaractor. So that was just kind of a neat experience. So when they say you can speak from anywhere, you can.
Thank you, Noni. Mike and Jeff, do we have any questions for any particular panel member or anyone here? I think we do have a question, perhaps.
Okay, we had a question. How did we coordinate the pickups? Well, we actually charged, should I come up there?
And this is for Noni. So I'm going to let her talk so I could pretend that. But yes, Noni's going to come up to talk about coordinating the wine and beer distribution.
Okay, so what we managed to do is we put in there, if people wanted to have it delivered specifically to their door, and initially they did, we charged them an extra $10 delivery fee, and we broke our club out into areas. We also have a local area where people could pick up the items for free. We coordinated that with Riverside Liquors, where one of our locations in the Fleming Island area, they could just pick it up. But hey, we even delivered to our district governors and past district governors and everything else all the way down in St. Augustine, because we do like to share the joy of what we're doing with the rest of the Rotary District.
Thank you. Yes, so lots of engagement there for current club members, as well as service at the same time. It was a fundraiser for something else, so they were able to kind of get two things in there. So thank you, Noni, for sharing that. We've heard lots of other interesting ideas with regard to engagement and service and getting the Rotary name and brand out there, if you will. On the Rotary St. Augustine Sunrise Club had a beer and pretzel event at the business of one of their club members, kind of an Oktoberfest recently on 2 different Saturdays. It was able to be socially distanced and outside. So that's something that folks can do. Jody, I know, mentioned earlier, interesting things to keep the meetings more interesting. Not only do they engage people, but you learn about other folks in your club. So these are all great ideas. Thank you all so much for sharing your wealth of knowledge. And I want to thank Mike Dara. I think my mic.
We've got another 7 minutes here.
Well, I'm gonna say thanks to Mike for gathering all these people together. He's like the little Rotary Energizer Bunny, and I appreciate him very, very much.
So that brings up, if the button is on. So are you hearing me? Thumbs up, are you seeing thumbs up? There we go, we got thumbs up. So I've got to ask you, because you were the one that's been visiting clubs, and this is not an exhaustive list, but if you had to say the clubs that if you want to see for a pretty good hybrid type meeting, which clubs would you go to visit? Because that really helps you get the sense of what that Zoom channel is like.
Yes, so I have been doing a lot of zooming into meetings in the district. Gainesville, the large Gainesville club has done a really, really good job. Matthew Brady is their president and Jenny Van Hart is in that group. They've done a nice hybrid job. West Jacksonville, they had breakout rooms prior to the meeting where we could engage in smaller groups and learn about folks and then come into the larger session, and that was very nice. Also, Fleming Island, I visited them in the beginning and had a chance to have a do-over this week, and it was amazing. It was really nice to see the growth, and one might expect that, but I could tell that they had been working on refining the experience for the, especially for the virtual platform folks. So those are 3 that I would say have done a nice job. And I've seen growth in the ones that I've had the opportunity to visit in the beginning of this process and then again later on.
So anybody can do a breakout session as long as they've got a paid Zoom subscription and as long as they go down into their settings and enable breakout rooms. But can you describe, if you're in a club that has, right now, Gainesville has between 60 and 90 people a week showing up for Zoom, and they miss that opportunity to have table talk, because when you're in there with 90 people, one person can talk before you get to the meeting. So tell me about the breakout room and what you experienced with West Jacks.
So the breakout room allowed, it was prior to the actual start of the meeting, and I was assigned to a smaller group of about 8 or 10 folks, and we were able to just chat about some people's holiday plans, talk about football starting again, and when Big Ten was going to start, when the SEC was going to start, and where different folks were from. So that allowed something similar to an in-person experience where you actually get to say, oh my gosh, I didn't know you were from Kansas, or that sort of thing. So it allowed for that personal connection prior to the start of the meeting.
And from what I understand from Patty, who actually runs those,
yes,
she decided beforehand, let's see, do we want 8 that I can assign people to, or 10? And as people sign on, she actually says, do you want to join a breakout room? And somebody will say, well, where's Mike? Put me into, not Mike. I should not choose that.
Not Mike's room, not
Mike's room, but put me into, oh, Bob's here? Is Bob here? Great, put me into his room. I've been meaning to ask him a question. So they keep it at, you got up to 10. They have
and that was
6
just to
and
get,
some,
yes.
and, so it's a, It's a really interesting way to do things. Now, I had another question, and this is for all the panelists. If you would just go ahead, and this is a little dangerous with so many people on the screen, but speak up. Rotaractors have been a major growth area for Rotary. There is an effort to help us mine this group of Rotaractors, so as they enter that phase of their life that is kind of second phase of their career, and it's not the first phase of their career, have you found ways of involving Rotaractors so they get comfortable with Rotary? That's for our panelists. This Zoom hybrid type meeting is a great opportunity here. So, okay, so I see Marshall on the screen there. Did they choose to put Marshall on the screen?
You're so good at
Marshall,
following
did you choose
directions,
that?
Marshall.
Not sure. That was random.
Okay.
I'll speak up on that, Mike.
Okay, Jenny.
So you probably know that during my year as president, we created a special membership type for our Rotaractors so they could become full-blown members of our Rotary Club. They pay a little less in terms of fees. And so we've always encouraged them to join our meetings in person. I find that a hybrid opportunity means that they're not having to commit to those 2 hours away from the office. So they're able to jump on the call, spend an hour, and then jump off again. It's pretty empowering, and we do get attendance from our Rotaractors, not just the ones who are members of our club, and it's great.
Okay, thank you, Jenny. I'll mention one other area an area around Sarasota, the district in Sarasota has found. They have been doing a lot of this international work, and many people internationally have wanted to join their clubs, and also some snowbirds have wanted to join their clubs, and they are now joining their clubs. It's really pretty cool. Folks that come down in December and go to their meetings are now staying as members from the north. So that's an idea for both ways to engage through Zoom and ways to grow your club. So we have one thing left to do, and that's to help you save the chat. So if you want to save the chat, it will save it on your computer. You look on the bottom right-hand side, you should find dots. So Marie, I'm looking down to you to make certain. If you looked at this, or Jeff, I'll look at you to make certain my description's good. If you're on an iPad, this may be difficult. So send me your email if you've got an iPad, and I will send it. My email address is Mike H. Darragh, D-A-R-R-A-G-H @gmail.com. I'll ask Jeff to put that in the chat for you. But look down on the bottom right-hand side, and you'll see, does it say save chat, or is it just some dots down there that you click on?
It says save chat.
It says save chat. Thank you, Marshall. So you save chat. It will ask you whether you can save it, whether Zoom can talk to your computer and be able to save things. And you'll say yes. And then that will save it. It should be in your downloads. Is that where it's going, Marshall?
Let's see. I think it does go to your downloads, but
okay.
Yeah.
So that will allow you to save that. And then, as I said, if you do not have that capability, whether you're on a phone or an iPad, then send me your email, and Jeff is going to be saving this chat right now, has already saved it, and I will send that out to you. So we are at 11:10. We're going to stay on time. So we have a 5-minute break, and we will come back together. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Whoa, Jim, thanks for buying 3 sets of beer. Noni is ecstatic. So, yeah. So thank you for that. And also thank you to our speakers today. Jim, Jenny, help me. I'm doing it off the top of my
Jim,
head.
Jenny, we've got
Nikki.
Dale, Jody, Randy, Noni,
Marshall.
Lucy. There are 2 more.
Gary,
and The person between Gary and Lucy was?
I already said Jody.
No, in the
Oh,
first,
it's on the first
oh,
session.
in our first session.
Sorry.
But, and Mike's going to look at that. I do want to say thank you guys. We are engaging you all because we're all becoming better at this at the same time. So we don't want you to think, oh, they know how to do all of it. We're learning too, and we learn from you. We want to help you all to learn from each other. So thank you for hanging in there and for really, really making this better.
And thank you, Roseanne. You are one of my biggest go-to people. I did not mean to leave you out. Thank you so much. We'll see you in 5 minutes.
All right, we're now here for our closing plenary session. I couldn't be more excited as past district polio chair to have this closing session, but I do want to remind you this is not the end of today's program. So after our plenary speaker finishes, please don't leave. We have some really important awards that we're going to give, and so we do have a little bit more to do after Mike finishes. I am so excited. District Governor Rich asked me to come up with the best polio speaker that I could think of. Is everybody hearing me okay? All right. District Governor Rich asked me to come up with the best polio speaker that I could think of for World Polio Day. And so who did I think of? I'd get the guy in charge of Polio Plus for the world. So we are very fortunate to have Mike McGovern, the chair of Polio Plus, speaking to us today. Mike is doing 8 events today around the world. That's the good thing about Zoom. Mike McGovern has served as the chair of Rotary International's Polio Plus Committee since October 2014. In this role, he is the volunteer leader of Rotary's largest humanitarian project, the global eradication of polio. Rotary is spearheading as this partner of the Global Polio Eradication Initiative and has donated over $2 billion, that's billion with a B, dollars to ending polio, and has worked with our other partners to reduce the number of polio endemic countries from 125 in 1988 when we started our efforts to 2 today, Afghanistan and Pakistan. Mike also represents Rotary in the Polio Oversight Board. Mike joined Rotary in 1986 as a member of the Rotary Club of South Portland, Cape Elizabeth, Maine in the United States. He served as club president, district governor, district foundation chair, council on legislation delegate, Rotarian Action Group chair, Rotarian Leadership Institute division chair, international training leader, institute convener, RI committee member and chair, trustee and vice chair of the Rotary Foundation, and as a director and vice president of Rotary International. He began serving as the global chair of Rotary Leadership Institute in July of this past year. Mike has served his entire career with the town of Cape Elizabeth, Maine, beginning as an intern in 1977 and serving as town manager from 1985 to 2016. During his career, he also led several boards, including the Maine Municipal Association, the Maine Town and City Management Association, and EcoMaine, and served on committees of the International City and County Management Association. He currently serves on the board of Park Danforth, a nonprofit retirement community, and is chair of the Diocesan Review Board in the Roman Catholic Diocese of Portland. Please join me in a warm District 6970 welcome for Polio Plus Chair Mike McGovern.
Thank you very much, Jeff, and thank you, Governor Rich, for inviting me. I don't know if you got the best polio speaker in the world, but I'm somewhat knowledgeable on Rotary's activities with polio, and we have just so many people that are passionate and great Rotary speakers. It makes my position quite a bit easier. Anyway, when I was asked to speak by Jeff, I was asked to look at where we've come from, where we are, and where we're going. And I'll try to honor that as much as possible. You know, like anything that goes on for a long time, you have, you know, wonderful achievements that, you know, we collectively have done. You know, there's a few setbacks along the way, and, you know, but eventually you work together and you get it done. And, you know, that's what I know every Rotarian in the world wants to see. They want to see this done, you know, particularly, you know, when you look at your topics for today, vibrant clubs. You know, sometimes with polio, particularly, you know, here in the United States, you're part of Florida, you know, not everyone relates to polio. Surprisingly, there's a lot who do, thankfully. But, you know, it's not because we have current cases in our part of the world. But, you know, our goal is to eradicate polio. You know, that's what we've been focused on. That's, you know, that's what we're going to do. So, you know, I very much want to get this from the beginning. You know, so today is World Polio Day. The reason it's World Polio Day is that it's the 106th, if I have my math right, anniversary of the birthday of Jonas Salk. Jonas Salk, of course, was the guy 65 years ago who came up with the original polio vaccine that just gave hopes to so many. And, you know, it's being celebrated around the world. You know, this was a photograph taken yesterday in Lahore in Pakistan. And the gentleman with the yellow polio shirt in the middle, that's the district governor. This was a few hours ago in Afghanistan, in a place called Jalalabad. And they had an event there for a lot of the polio workers, some government officials. It was one of several events that, you know, I've seen that I've gotten photographs of today. This is on the border of Pakistan and Afghanistan. And, you know, if you've read any history of that region, it's not a very safe area. It's a tough area. The man putting the marker on the kid's pinky, as they refer to them as, is the governor of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. And, you know, it's a tough area. You know, I always get nervous when Rotarians visit there. We had Rotarians visited this community this morning from both Pakistan and Afghanistan. This was last night in Abu Dhabi, in the United Arab Emirates. You know, there's actually 4 or 5 buildings that have been lit there overnight. The government there in the UAE is very generous to polio eradication, and they want to promote within country how important it is to them. This is actually a Formula One building of some type. So, you know, that was wonderful to see. Earlier today, I spoke to a group in Bangladesh. And this is actually this morning in Bangladesh. You can see a bunch of Rotarians with new t-shirts when walking on the streets for a polio awareness walk. You know, Bangladesh is fascinating. Here in the United States, we tend to think of it as a place that floods and, you know, the teeming populations. They actually have one of the best records in the world. They haven't had their own polio case for over 20 years. And they also have one of the best records in the world for routine immunizations. And it's, you know, I was proud to be able to thank them on behalf of Rotary for the great work that they're doing. Early today, I was on this call. This was folks in Pennsylvania, and they were having an event there. And, you know, this is typical. So I really want to thank your district 6970 for having an event. This is not a very good photograph, and, you know, some of you are really good at photographs. And this was one I took, and if I had known I was going to use it, I would have taken more time to frame it. But why I have this photo? This is a laboratory in Madagori in Borno in Nigeria. And it was in this very room that they identified the very last case of wild polio virus in Africa. You know, when I was in the room, you know, I felt as though I was at, you know, sort of a holy place. You know, to think that the virus had been present in the room, but also to think that possibly the virus that was in this room at the time, you know, I was hoping it would be the last one, and thankfully it was. It's actually this facility, the laboratory, is named for a Rotarian from Oregon, got a gentleman by the name of Larry Hewitt, and it was wonderful to see. this was sort of across the driveway from the laboratory. And they arranged for me to meet with some of our community-based vaccinators. These are the people that the polio donations are used for, that are with polio donations, that are paid small stipends to actually deliver the 2 drops into the mouth. A lot of Rotarians have the impression that the drops are delivered by Rotarians. But the reality is that less than 1% is. Most of the polio drops are delivered by men and women like this. In this case, if you look at the picture closely, all of these individuals are polio survivors. These are individuals that we hire, give stipends to actually deliver the vaccines. And I stayed at a place not far from there, and when I was going to this place, we had a meeting first with some government officials, health people, and these folks, as I was being driven there, I saw these people coming to this site. They came on these tricycles. Some of them were crawlers, people that had old crutches or just were crawling on the ground. And, others had wheelchairs. Some of them were dropped off by other folks. But, it's just, when I think of their devotion and their activity, the woman in the wheelchair on the right, she wanted Rotary to buy new tricycles for, which you see the men on the picture for. That's what they used to get around. It's what they get around to deliver the vials of vaccines. And, I looked at our polio chair from Nigeria, who was there with me when they asked the question. And, they wanted to know if we'd buy them and deliver them and whatever. And, there's only one answer in Rotary, and that's yes. But I was able to say yes because, one, the local Rotarians in Nigeria were willing to do the logistics, and 2, because we do have some monies available for Polio Plus Partners grants, and I was able, their standing, didn't need the trustee chair's approval to actually say yes. But that yes happened because you folks donate. This is where these individuals work. This is a camp for internally displaced people. These were people who escaped Boko Haram, which actually was founded in this community. 60,000 people live in this particular camp in these straw huts. And, to think it's those polio workers you just saw, they're going down these alleyways. They're the ones that are delivering the polio drops. And, they do it day in and day out. The day it was 2017, actually, August 25th. The man in the middle, he was the deputy governor. And if you look over my shoulder, you see a man there in a green military type outfit. He was one of 17 people that was holding assault weapons to protect us. And the deputy governor told me on the way out, I was in his vehicle, and they, by the way, they were his security, they weren't ours. Told us on the way out that the reason security was so heavy, there'd been a suicide bomber the day before that had killed 3 people at the entrance to this camp. So, we were there, we went over there, one, to see it, and I never thought I'd visit a place like this, but also to dedicate a well that was installed by the Nigeria National Polio Plus Committee with Rotary Polio Plus dollars. And, they were very appreciative of that. And this is another one we did in Abuja. This is, I don't like calling other people the slums, but it's the term that they use. This was a tough community just outside the city. And again, we dedicated the well. The man in the black is Tunji Funcho. Tunji is our Nigerian Polio Plus chair, the man that said yes to the tricycles. And he was also, a couple of weeks ago, named by Time magazine as one of the 100 most influential people in the world. And that's because of his work with the recent certification of Africa as polio free. And, he didn't like the water. You could tell the look on his face. I was kind of, taken back by the whole thing because, even though it was purified, the aquifer is still, from their sources. And, you learn when you go to a place like Nigeria, always drink bottled water. But nonetheless, the little boy there, the son of the village chief there, he said, "Big white guy, you have to drink the water." So anyway, I drank it and I survived. But you just look at the happy faces. And some of you may look at this picture and wonder where the women are. There are a couple of women in the picture. One works, Carol Pandak for Rotary, the other for WHO. But the tradition in this village is the women stand in one place, the men stand in the other. But it was just an amazing experience, and so thankful that Rotary can do these things and help out. This is Afghanistan. This is World Polio Day, I think 2 years ago. I wasn't there, but our chair there took the picture. And this was training again. These are the folks that deliver the vaccines. It's so important in these places that we have community-based people, that we have individuals who are known to their neighbors and, that they can trust. And again, we pay them small stipends. But it's not easy. Every place we work in Pakistan and Afghanistan, there's a gentleman like the one in the back who accompanies them. They're paid for by the government. In Pakistan, they're affiliated with the military, it's very important that the workers are safeguarded. And it's all about the little boy in the front getting the drops in the ground. So what about Rotary? And the introduction, Jeff mentioned, Rotarians have contributed over 1.1 billion to the Global Polio Eradication Initiative. And you got to look, this is since 1985. So, we're talking, 35 years, we're talking 36,000 clubs. So, every bit that you give makes a difference, even though these are big numbers. And, and it's sustaining this commitment. It's getting it done. My own Rotary Club has cans on the table when we meet in person. Now we call them virtual cans, and people put their spare change into them. And, eventually it adds up, and it adds up to hopefully a goal of 50 million a year. And, the Gates Foundation's matching it again this year. They're matching it for another 2 years. The Gates Foundation, because of that match, has now given Rotary $980 million. It's about to go up. And that's we're in a 3-year agreement right now that they will continue to match 2 for 1 every dollar that we contribute as Rotarians, raise for our communities around the world. Rotary, we talk about our own money, but we were also the group that brought the Gates Foundation into polio eradication. It was through Bill Gates Sr., Bill Gates' father. And the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is now the #1 giver to polio eradication. It's over $4 billion. So, they give 100 million a year to Rotary if we raise 50 million, but they also, they're spending another 300 million every year on their own investing in polio eradication. It's also Rotarians who go to the governments of the world and ask them to support it. The first one was Canada. The US government is actually the second largest contributor to polio eradication, with Rotary being the third. We receive money from many different countries: United Kingdom, Japan, Australia, and I mentioned earlier the United Arab Emirates. This is all about together. Together, everyone working together. We're going to end polio, and our goal, to the very end, is the global certification of polio eradication. So, what have we accomplished with all this? What's our impact? Money is good to talk about, but people want to know, what do we get for the money? Where is it spent? 19 million people are walking on this earth who otherwise would be no longer with us or would be paralyzed if Rotary hadn't had the courage or the audacity to start this program back in the Philippines and continuing on to today. 19 million children. So even though I get a little discouraged some days when the cases are a little bit up, this statistic sustains me, and I hope it sustains you. Just the logistics, 3 billion people, children under the age of 5, 3 billion have received the oral polio vaccine. Last year alone, over 1 billion doses. But that's 430 million children, because kids get more than one dose. Just amazing in my view, what the partnership accomplishes. We've gone 4 years without a case. We had a case with that little girl in Nigeria 4 years ago. Pakistan and Afghanistan, the only places we have cases, 132 so far this year. And it's interesting, compared to a year ago, and with COVID and everything else, the cases in Pakistan are only up 1 case from a year ago. But unfortunately in Afghanistan, they've gone from 18 to 50 something. And, that's a concern, and I'll touch on that a little bit of why that happens. We've helped with COVID. We had to suspend activities for a while with COVID. When I say activities, we suspended house to house, and we wanted to make sure we weren't spreading the coronavirus, and that was worldwide. We felt there was a moral imperative. We also felt there was a moral imperative to help with COVID, and for that reason, our surveillance, where we usually identify polio cases, instead was converted to helping with COVID. That included contact tracing. It included training on the need for masks and social distancing and all the things we hear about, in our own country. And over 4,000 WHO, World Health Organization, polio workers were converted for a while to COVID support, our laboratories, the testing, all of that. And it cost for, estimated through December of $60 million. The good news is that's expected to be reimbursed. But in the meantime, we have the framework, we have the network to respond to these public health emergencies, particularly in Africa. So, we ought to be proud of what we did with Ebola, what we did with COVID, and, our contribution going forward. This slide here, in one respect, it's sad, but in one respect, I show it because it's good news. These, the wild polio virus is declared certified free by regions of the World Health Organization. And all but one region has been certified as polio free, the Eastern Mediterranean region, which obviously includes Pakistan and Afghanistan. And, you look at these photos, India, it was 10 years ago, January now, seems like yesterday. The last polio case in India, Rushdi is her name. I actually met her in Calcutta a few years ago, and just a delightful young girl. She's now 12 or 13 years old. The woman and the young girl, the pretty face, Yafana Ali, the last case of wild polio in Africa. You just, you look at that smile. By all indications, she's doing fine. And but you think of all of the other children who haven't gotten the wild polio virus after her. It's just amazing. Even since the COVID, the resumption of house to house in Africa, since COVID, we've already immunized 35 million children who won't get polio, shouldn't get polio, after Yafana Ali. The other one I want to mention is the Americas. This is a little boy, Luis Furman, 1991, a lot of years ago now. And note the man next to him. That was the very first region certified as polio free. And Luis, this is him in 2018, in front of the umbrella. And what's interesting, the man that he's looking at is the man that was in the previous picture. And this was their first reunion since 1991. And you see, Luis is still, dealing with some of the impacts of polio, but basically he's happy, he's contributing to society, and it's good that, well, there's no cure for polio. It's nice that with therapies and other things that people can live a fairly normal life. So, the monies that Rotarians gave, how were they used? A lot of it is getting vaccines to children. That's the, the delivery system that, we over 1 million people we gave stipends to last year who actually delivered the vaccine. It pays for the coolers, the refrigerators, the rent-a-cars, the boats, all of those things that are the delivery system. We also have what we call social mobilization, which is raising awareness. That's social media, it's radio ads, it's billboards, it's little trinkets. It's all of those things. And it's so important, particularly with vaccine hesitancy, to let people know that the immunization days are coming and to get their kids vaccinated. We spend 14% on identifying polio cases. That includes providing for local health offices, health centers in many, particularly African countries, and having people go to those, taking stool samples and sending them to laboratories that we fund. And we're also funding vaccines. A few years ago, we weren't really funding that much in vaccines. Other people were doing it, but we're now doing that again. Just last week, thanks to your generosity, the trustees approved $50 million in grants that are going to the World Health Organization and UNICEF. And you can see the first three lines. We're making sure in Africa that we sustain the polio-free world that we have there. It's you got to make sure that it's certified, but you got to keep up the surveillance. You got to continue. People still need to get their vaccinations, and we also encourage other routine immunizations. We're spending most of our money in Afghanistan and Pakistan. Eastern Mediterranean region includes those again. And again, operational support, those are the NIDs. But but again, the national immunization days, those are mostly done with stipends being paid for to local community people. We've had an outbreak of vaccine derived, and that isn't from people who get the vaccine don't get that, but the ones who get the circulating vaccine derived polio are ones that have very low immune systems because they don't get any of the routine immunizations. And the ones who get the vaccine, they secrete it, it mutates, and unfortunately that happens. Fortunately, as a result of research, there's a new vaccine expected to be approved very, very soon, before the end of the year. It's been under development 10 years. The clinical trials have all been good. That's supposed to take care of the problem. We're also, that 12 million you see there, that's vaccines. And we're funding research still. This is the first of 3 grants, series of grants that will be done this year. There's another 100 million still to come. And it's done 3 times during the year. The woman on the left, that was in the Philippines. They actually had one of those vaccine-derived outbreaks there last year. The government stopped it in January. And you can see the Rotarians there were very committed to helping. So what do we need to do? What do we need to do to finish the job? We need to advocate to the governments of the world. And Rotary does this in Washington. We do it in London. We do it in the European community. We have Rotarians in Canada, Japan, Australia, so many places, Switzerland, who meet with government leaders and encourage them to give grants. And you saw some of those earlier. We also advocate to governments where there is polio, where there's vaccine-derived outbreak, or high priority countries. We have very active Rotarians, for example, in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, who are intimately involved in working with the government on that. This particular photo was taken in February, and this was at the home of Imran Khan, the man on the left. He is the Prime Minister of Pakistan. The man on the right is Holger Kanak, the current president of Rotary. Holger went to Pakistan, again, the first week of February, with Ravi Ravindran, who's the chair of the Rotary Foundation. I was there as well, and Aziz Memon, our volunteer chair in Pakistan, a trustee now of the foundation, and we met with the Prime Minister, and he gave us his unwavering commitment. It was actually the second time I'd gone to his home to meet with him, once when he was in opposition, and basically he said the cases went up in Pakistan last year because, I think these were his exact words, I screwed up. And to hear a government leader say that was, one, encouraging, but two, he did come in, and there was a transitional issue. He brought in some people who weren't up to the task, and he said, I got to fix this. I screwed up. I'm going to fix it. And we could see the signs it was being fixed. We also met with the Army general, who was a big important person in that country, and they handled not only security but a lot of the logistics of the polio program. And he was out vaccinating kids, giving the oral polio vaccine 2 weeks ago, and he said he believes that they'll be able to have the last polio case in Pakistan in 2021. I don't know if he's right, but I look at India, for example. There were 700 and something cases in 2 years before the end of polio. 1 year before, there were 42 cases. The last year, there was 1 case. And you look at that, it is doable once you really get people behind you. So we got to have that advocacy. We've got to continue to raise the money. The Gates match is still in place. We need to stop these so-called vaccine-derived cases. There's over 500 of them this year, which are all over the Central Africa. I just read about some cases this morning in Myanmar, and that costs money. That's why we're still investing in vaccines, is to take care of these outbreaks. But most of all, we need, people say, what more than anything else is going to get this done? We need to convince the parents. We need to convince leaders, both ones we politically might agree with and those that we don't, of the importance of vaccination. I mentioned about leaders. One of the groups we need to bring along is the Taliban. They believe in vaccines, But you know what? There's some lingering concern with, the vaccinator, not polio, who visited Osama bin Laden's house before that played out, and it would cause some distrust. And they have banned house-to-house vaccinations. They don't want people going to their doors. But that's we've got to get beyond that. We have people that work for the Taliban, not Rotarians. I don't meet with them, but that is a hurdle right now, and we have people actively working on that. And we need to focus like a laser on not only opening up the Taliban, but all of the parents in all those areas. Part of that whole issue there is we need to have them feel that it's their program, not that it's one that Rotary or WHO or UNICEF or the national governments bring in. They need to know that the vaccine is right for their children. And that's why the social mobilization is important. It's why the approach to having community-based vaccinators is important. And, and it's, we're going to eradicate polio, but that's it. In this picture, I always hesitate to use pictures that have me in them, but the pictures that get taken, and I don't use the stock pictures. Look at this woman. Forget me. Look at this woman. Look at that smile. This was in Abuja when I was there in 2017, and we went to this health center, connected with a hospital, and she came in late. And she was all apologetic. She had just gone back to work. She had just had the baby a little bit ago, and she had to run out of work, go get the baby, come in, and she said, "I really want to get my kid vaccinated." So we get the vials back out of the refrigerator, and I put the drops in. And you just look at that smile. That's if every mother was like this mother, so appreciative of the program, wanting to have the vaccine. We would end polio tomorrow. So, there is a bright future ahead. We've gone from, 350,000 cases a year to 130 right now. We've had 5 straight years with 200 or fewer cases. Rotarians have continued to be generous in this COVID experience. The governments have continued to support. There is an issue with the WHO and US government, but, they've already created one exemption for polio. We hope that will happen regardless of the next administration. But in the end, it was Rotarians who began this. We've had the patience, we've had the persistence, and so many Rotarians have the passion. And when Jeff introduced me and said I was the leader and all that stuff, there are so many leaders in polio eradication and Rotary. Every district, so many clubs. I have one of the easiest jobs in Rotary. Because everyone identifies with this program, or at least so many do. So I want to thank you. It's a great honor to speak to all of you today and to share with you how we're all working together to eradicate polio. So thank you. Couldn't be more honored to participate with you in World Polio Day. So thank you, Jeff, and thank you, Governor Rich.
Thanks very much, Mike. One of the things that's always great when you invite a speaker is to under-promise and have your speaker over-deliver, and you clearly did that this morning. The most important thing that I saw over and over in the chat was you're just inspiring, Mike. You're providing the leadership. We realize that there are many Rotarians and non-Rotarians around the world that are doing the heavy lifting, but it's not without your leadership. I also want to remind you that we just announced today that we were #2 in Zone 34 for our commitment to polio, and we raised almost $300,000 this past year toward polio. Mike, if possible, you and I can talk separately, but a number of people asked if you might make your slides available because there was so much really great information on those slides. And just one final question that I got from people in the chat. Are you concerned because of the vaccine deniers, because of issues with COVID, that polio could reappear in the Americas?
It's funny that you should ask that. I actually read an article in the last day or so, someone indicating this support. Anything's possible. As we saw from, the pandemic, we've always said polio is just a plane ride away. And, I think we've learned that the hard way with the pandemic. it's possible. In the United States, for instance, we don't do the oral polio vaccine. The only polio vaccines that are given are IPV, the injectable polio vaccine, and children in most states are required to, get those vaccines prior to going to school. Some states don't require that. In my own state of Maine, we actually just had a vote on the ballot. I don't know if it was early this year or last November. And, I couldn't be any more pleased. So people wanted the right for an exemption. And in my own community, Cape Elizabeth, 88% of the people voted not to allow exemptions. And, I know there are feelings out there, but, it's a public health issue. And, it could happen. We need to be vigilant. We need to, make sure we continue our routine immunization programs to not only avoid polio, but also the possibility of all these other vaccine preventable diseases.
Again, Mike, thank you for sharing World Polio Day with us.
Thank you very much. Great to be with you. I'm going to sign off, so good to be with you.
Thanks, Mike, and thank you, Jeff. One of the benefits of being a district governor is the opportunity to visit so many wonderful clubs and meet wonderful people. It's truly an honor today to introduce Karen Weiss. One of the pleasures I have is Rotarians occasionally pick up the phone and call me, and that's what Karen did, to ask if we could put together a crisis management plan. So she's here today to talk to us about that. Thank you, Karen, very much. Great Rotarian.
Oh, good morning. And should we do a sound check? Can everyone hear me? Marie, can they hear me online?
Yeah, we got you. Good.
Well, we're all seeing today the advantages of our virtual world, and one of them being we can do meetings around the world. So last month I attended an RI Zoom conference on developing a crisis management plan that featured Rotarian Shindo Kondo from Japan, who developed a plan for his multi-district youth exchange program after the earthquake and tsunami in 2011 that resulted in the Fukushima power plant destruction and 17,000 deaths. At the time, Japan had 170 inbound students who were all ultimately safe, but they had difficulty reaching students in 2 of their districts. So Japan then developed a plan that includes a way of checking on students if you can't do it through the usual means of phone and internet. So it was Shindo Kondo and 2 RI staff on the youth protection department up there who presented a ton of information to all the attendees. So as the district youth protection officer, I have documents and plans on reporting sexual abuse and harassment and how to handle all of those. But I'd never seen a plan on some other events that we need to protect our students from, things like hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, fires, school shootings, and very relevant now, physical health crises or pandemics. Fortunately, we have handled such crises well in the past because we are such a great district with a lot of very smart people. So we all rally around and have done what we needed to do, particularly most recently with the pandemic. So I contacted Cassie Moyers, our district youth exchange chair, to ask about our district plan. She was not aware of one, so that's when I called District Governor Rich. He was not aware of one either, and he had already asked Pat Mulvihill, our disaster relief chair, in case he knew of one. So I volunteered with Rich to form a committee to do a crisis management plan. And Rich suggested several great Rotarians to be on that committee. So we have Cassie Moyers, our district youth exchange chair, Julie Waldman, who is our district RILA chair, Kathy Minery, who is on our new youth services committee and knows everything Interact and RILA, and past district governor Bill Griffin, who, as you all know, just knows everything about everything. So, and Cassie is also seeking a Rotex member to be on the committee. So fortunately, we do not have to reinvent the wheel. RI provided a template for all districts to use, and Cassie found some plans from other districts that we can incorporate. I got some documents from Stetson University that are all quite relevant, and Julie Waldman gave me documents from her facility where she works that are relevant. And I would ask that any of you who have suggestions or plans from where you work or your university or any other youth programs, if you would please put your name and email in the chat room and I can get those from you. And maybe someone can put my email in the chat if people just want to go ahead and email me. It's lickiss@aol.com. It's pretty easy, LICKISS@aol.com. Maybe we can get that in the chat. It's nothing obscene, it's my maiden name. So, okay. So our plan now is to use all of this information to determine the risk unique to our district, develop the plans and protocols, create a communication plan, and ensure that all of our Rotarians and students are informed and prepared for any crisis. So I sent a first rough draft to all of the committee last night. We are required now to have this document in to Rotary International by January. So wish us luck with that, because this seems like it's suddenly upon us. So again, if you have any suggestions, please put them in the chat if you'd like to contribute information. If you would like to serve on the committee, we would certainly have you look over the documents, our drafts, and add what you think is needed. So do we have any questions from the chat? No? Any questions from the room? Thank you very much.
Yes, I have one question. Well, I have one question.
Okay. Okay. Yes, the question is.
Yes, the question is, with the wild polio eradicated in the continent of Africa, will there still be a persistent vaccination project there?
Yeah, I think that's a
Jeff says yes.
yes. Jeff Michaelman says yes.
I was just in India last year. We're still very committed to making sure that polio does not come back, which is the reason I think one of you asked about the Americas, and I thought Mike gave us a very thoughtful and open answer about that.
Okay, next thing we're going to do is talk about membership. Who gets the membership awards? I am assisted by the very able Teresa Schuster, who quite frankly has helped keep me organized. So Teresa, thank you. And also we're assisted by and he is off screen as always, but Art Schuster. So talking about the membership awards, that first membership award, there are 4 categories. The first one is the top percentage gain. Is that what you're seeing, Marie? Is the next one that's coming up? Top percentage gain, small clubs. That's under 50 clubs. So
can we have the envelope, please?
There we go.
Thank you. So we have a tie for second place. Northeast Florida with 6 new members. Downtown Ormond Beach with 6 new members. Congratulations to them. And in first place, yes, please, round of applause for them. First place, small club, Bartram Trail.
So let me just tell you real briefly. I'm going to talk about Northeast Florida in a second, but downtown Ormond Beach, a new club in the last 3 years, they get it. They have a process. Every one of their members is thinking, how do I bring in somebody that helps us either expand our network or help us do service? They took on one of the biggest service projects on our district within 3 years of forming, and they did it because they brought in the people to help them get it done. So great job with Ormond Beach. Bartram Trail, I mentioned before, if you were on the membership sessions, there were 18 members about 8 years ago, and they decided we're tired of working so hard. They did all sorts of stuff in the community, but they wanted more people to help. And now if you go to their meetings, you'll find those 37 members, they've doubled in size in 8 years. They just kept saying, like Ormond, we need more people to grow the impact of Rotary. So congratulations. So the next category is top member gains, large clubs. This is absolute gain.
And the envelope, please.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. I want to get the next one because he can reach all the way across with that.
We have a tie for third place. Downtown DeLand and Flagler Beach, Bunnell both had 5 new members.
And one other.
We have in second place, Orange Park with 7 members. And now, number 1, large club, Jacksonville, 13 members.
We missed Ponte Vedra.
Oh, I did?
Ponte Vedra was
Oh,
7.
sorry, Ponte Vedra, 5-2.
So I'll tell you real quickly about Ponte Vedra. Ponte Vedra said, it's the members. You need to pay attention to the members, involve them, engage them, and you'll have a great club. And if you know Ponte Vedra, you know they do that really well. Jacksonville, we talked on the membership session. They, 7 years ago, decided they had to reverse the decline. They targeted and figured out they had business members. They geared their club around business members. And as a result, last year they did better than they had in the past. This year, they included, I think they brought in close to 30 members, accounting for the loss of members that we always have. People move, people have to leave. They ended up with that positive 13 number. So the next category is top percentage gain, small clubs, less than 50.
And the envelope, please. In third place with 23% in growth is Bartram Trail. And in second place, High Springs with a percentage of 25. And our winner is the Northeast Florida Club with 43% growth.
All right. I already talked to you about Bartram Trail. High Springs, that's a club of 4 to 5 members. And in the past 3 years, they've decided we've got to do something different. They're small. There actually is another large service club in their area. They do things in the high school. They do a big auto show, a lot of neat things. And they've started working with the Gainesville clubs to start expanding that network that I talked about. So when people join their club, they're not just joining 4 or 5 members, they're joining the larger family of Rotary. And now they're starting to do more things with those Gainesville clubs. So thank you, Gainesville. Thank you, High Springs. Northeast Florida, let me tell you what they did. There was a group of people that wanted to join a Rotary club. They wanted a specific experience as having a supper club in the South Jacksonville area. When they looked at the most flexible thing they could do that already had some service projects going on and had some great video programs, it was Northeast Florida. They worked with the folks in the leadership in Northeast Florida, plugged in this club, and it's almost like a satellite. Big growth in 1 year. So congratulations, creative thinking, listening to what the members need.
Great.
So the final area is top percentage gains, large clubs. Let's have,
yes.
Let me take it this time.
Yeah, come on and
yeah,
keep
yeah,
on
yeah.
coming,
Yeah,
keep
come
on coming.
in.
We want to
Can
see
we
your
see
hat. Can you see
Can we
him?
see 'em?
Keep coming, keep coming,
Yeah,
keep coming.
Keep
Keep,
coming. You
oh,
can
oh,
barely
come
see
on,
you.
one more head.
One more head. There you go.
Get your lobsters from Amelia. Yeah, here we go.
Right, there we go.
Get your lobsters from Amelia Island Friday before the Florida-Georgia game. All right, this is the last award here. In third place at 9% is Orange Park. In second place, Flagler Beach Bunnell with 10%. And the big winner First place, downtown DeLand, 11% growth.
So fantastic. Let me tell you about Orange Park. Orange Park had a 50th anniversary this year. They talked to the past president of Rotary, Barry Rassin, to come in and help them celebrate that. They, as a result of that and some service projects, they recruited 20 extra people to join their club and help them do some fantastic things. Concentration on good programs and a very intentional membership program to figure out who do we need to make our service and our network what we want it to be. The Flagler Beach Bunnell didn't used to be part of that. Bunnell's a satellite. They saw an opportunity, a group of people that wanted to become Rotarians in another area. They created that. They are now growing that Bunnell Club. Flagler Beach, always creative, always looking for people that want to expand Rotary. And finally, downtown DeLand, and this is something that we all can take home. This is the last one I'll mention. Downtown DeLand has a huge event. Black Tie and Blue Jeans down in DeLand. They work with all the clubs, but they found they dropped a little bit in membership. They needed to bring in some people to help them. They brought in people to take their existing effort to a significantly higher level of fundraising and involvement in the community. Those extra people, and there were about 5, I'm trying to remember how many they brought in net. Those extra people allowed them to take that to such a higher level. They're dedicated to service and folks want to be involved in that. So congratulations, Downtown DeLand. And that is it for our membership awards. So I'm going to introduce our next person. That is Art McQueen is going to talk through the foundation awards. Take it away, Art.
Hi again, everybody. So first off, I want to thank you for that round of applause. I appreciate it. I also want to thank those that have been texting me and saying, Art, you're wearing a suit, you're wearing a tie. And I always think it's important when you're thanking people for giving their money, it's important that you dress up a little bit. I also want to point out that it is Zoom, and you may have noticed I didn't stand during the Pledge of Allegiance, and there's a reason for that. I look good from the waist up today. So let's talk about some more awards for our foundation. You'll notice on this that there's 6 areas of focus shown. Please keep in mind that as of this year, we've added a 7th area, and that is the environment. So those of you that are active in global grants, and if you want to do something that has to do with the environment, you can now use the environment as an area of focus. So how did we do? Let's talk about our annual giving. So this is annual fund giving, and it just works out this way that it's for both overall and for large club. And large clubs are denoted by the fact that they are 50 or more members. Gainesville, 33.7. Orange Park, 42. And Jacksonville in first place with 59.9. Let's hear it for Jacksonville, please. And are you guys, are you handing awards, Mike, or am I handing these awards at a later date?
So
Mike?
Jeanette is handing the award over to Mike Scott, who's accepting on, Dean Scott, that is accepting on behalf of Jacksonville.
Awesome. Thank you, Marie. And we'll go to the next one. Annual fund giving small club. So this would be under 50 members. And this is total annual fund giving. Orange Park Sunset in the 3rd spot, just under 8,000. Downtown Gainesville, 12.6. And number 1, New Smyrna Beach, 12.650. And that's a new entry in that category. How awesome is that? Mike, have we got somebody handing somebody an award there?
Accepting for New Smyrna is District Governor-elect Richard Cooper.
Perfect. Thank you, Marie. So per capita annual giving. So this is dollars per member in terms of annual giving. New Smyrna Beach, $324.38. Orange Park, 538.56. And Orange Park Sunset, 570.9. So I want to thank Orange Park Sunset that this has become normal for them to lead our district in annual fund per capita giving. That's totally awesome. Special shout out to New Smyrna Beach. Again, I think this is their first opportunity to get into this category. And Orange Park with immediate past president Bill, who until he went to Pets was the self-proclaimed oldest president in Rotary. And then when he got to Pets, he found out he wasn't. And he wasn't terribly disappointed with that find. But thank you so much to all three of your clubs. Marie, who's accepting for Orange Park Sunset?
Noni Larson, except for Orange Park Sunset.
Total giving. So this is all funds. This is whether it's annual fund, polio, endowment fund. This is total giving. Gainesville in the third spot. And everybody right now is going, what? Gainesville's always number 2. Who's number 2? Jacksonville. And everybody's going, what? Jacksonville's always number 1. They're the 2 biggest clubs. The number 1 club in District 6970 this year in total giving. Port Orange, South Daytona with just under $100,000. Holy schmolies. Thank you so much, Port Orange, South Daytona. Marie, who we got?
Well, we actually have the members of Port Orange. We have the current president, Hewitt, and his member, his foundation chair, Deborah.
Awesome. We got to give them, hold on one second because my audience had suddenly gone quiet, but that's what happens when you give $100,000. Thank you so much, Port Orange, South Daytona. Gainesville, Jacksonville, the bar has been raised. Time to start giving it up out there. Per capita in terms of total giving. Number 3, Orange Park. Bill had a goal this year to make foundation giving big in his year of being president. Obviously, he was very successful. Orange Park Sunset, again, perennial in that category, and they're there again. Number 1, as you might expect, Port Orange, South Daytona, and look at this number, y'all. That's a huge number. Thank you, Port Orange, South Daytona. Marie, who's accepting?
Hewitt and Deborah is also accepting again for Port Orange, South Daytona.
I'm sorry, but in this age of Zoom, I've got lots of little toys that I like to play with. So Polio Plus, what a great day to presenting our clubs with their Polio Plus recognition, right? World Polio Day. Wonderful presentation from Mike. Some great questions in our chat box. Some more clarity about polio, some more understanding that we're not done yet, that we are truly that close. And this COVID has presented a minor little setback that we're getting past, and a better understanding that everything we've done when it comes to polio has translated into helping when it came to Ebola and when it's come to COVID in terms of contact tracing, setting up organizations that can figure this out, make it happen, and get it cleaned up faster than it would have. That is all thanks in very large part to you. So let's talk about our clubs. Well, first, let's show a few things that happened from our district. You see, not only Marshall and Jeff have gone out there and ridden in the 100-mile bike ride, but Mike and Jeanette and Cindy have been on NIDs, as have other folks in our district. What more can you ask for than to see a young kid either get the drops or get their pinky painted purple, right, in order to signify that they have received their drops. And yes, they will continue to receive those drops for years to come until this is gone. Until it's gone, it's not gone. It is really that simple. So polio giving, how'd we do? Cash from our clubs, our members, $190,000. our DDF, which we've made a commitment to give 20% or a little more on a yearly basis of our district designated funds. And we've continued that since that challenge was laid. Total giving $262,856. And what does that mean? The magic of Rotary math and the magic of the foundation matching our DDF, and then Bill and Melinda Gates matching everything 2-to-1, we made an impact of $1.225 $100,000. I mean, it's incredible what this district has done each and every year, and this past year was no exception. Thank you all very much. Now to our clubs. Large clubs. Jacksonville, $16,000. St. Augustine, $23,000. And in first place, the perennial first place holder in this category, Jacksonville Oceanside at $23,180. You will note that St. Augustine this year was hot on their trail, and this was new for St. Augustine to hit such a huge number, hit it out of the park on polio. Marie, who we got from Jacksonville Oceanside? Is it just Jeff Michaelman, or have they got more people there?
Jeff Michaelman is accepting for Jacksonville Oceanside.
Thanks, Jack Oceanside, and thanks, DGN Jeff. Next, per capita for large clubs in polio giving. And you'll notice that this will be only the second human disease in history eradicated. What was the first one? Smallpox. And hopefully, actually, I'm hoping maybe COVID goes down number 2, just to make it happen really fast, but I hope they race, and it's COVID and it's polio. St. Augustine, $166 per member in polio giving. Port Orange, South Daytona, $187. And in number 1, Jack's Oceanside at over $300 per member for polio giving. Jeff, are you receiving this one too?
Jeff is accepting for Jacksonville Oceanside.
Small clubs. So again, under 50 members. Polio, Free Africa. Bartram Trail, Gillinton Creek, $4,020. Thank you, Bartram Trail. New Smyrna Beach, $4,060. And in first place, St. Augustine Beach, $4,461. They like being in that top 3 in this category. Marie, are you putting down the microphone and accepting for St. Augustine Beach?
I'm accepting with the microphone.
There you go. Per capita small clubs. Oh, look at that good-looking guy on that slide. It's not over till it's over, but we are this close. Bartram Trail is in there again. Thank you, Bartram Trail, $134. Fleming Island at $150. And in first place, Keystone Heights. Go Keystone. Who's in there that can accept that for Keystone, Marie?
Well, we actually have Art Schuster that's going to accept for Keystone Heights.
So I want to make sure that we give all of these clubs one more rousing round of applause. Thank you, everybody. And it's tough to get my audience to just cut that off when I shake my hands and say stop, but it's working today. Can't say thank you enough. And as I always share with you when I get an opportunity to speak with any of you about the foundation, I thank you on behalf of all those you'll never know, you'll never get to meet, you'll never get to put your arm around them, never shake their hand, but trust in the fact that they thank each and every one of you every day for what they have that they would not have if it were not for your generosity. Thank you so much. And Marie, I think I'm turning it back to you.
Actually, you're turning it back to the current district foundation chair. Good afternoon. How are we? Should I take it?
It's awesome to have so many fabulous awards for the Rotary Foundation and all of the generosity that our Rotarians and our clubs have shown throughout the years. But especially during this difficult time, we continue to keep giving. So Art had given that wonderful presentation, but it occurred to me that there was somebody right here in this audience that we failed to recognize for their undying dedication to the eradication of polio, and that is Rhodey. Rhodey is looking a little peaked. He needs to get beefed up a little bit for that End Polio Now ride, but I know he has traveled the district and probably across country with District Governor nominee Jeff Michaelman. So that shout out, Jeff. Thank you for bringing Rhodey along with you today, and he's donning his COVID mask. So that's awesome. I would like to, we're going to have a very special presentation to make. First, I'd like to bring the president of Port Orange, South Daytona, up here with me, Hewitt DuPont. This is a little surprise for Hewitt because he doesn't know we're doing this today. But I understand, Hewitt, that just over a week ago, our district governor had a birthday. And in honor of his birthday, you made a very generous donation to the Rotary Foundation and became a major donor too. Is that true? You did that for Rich as a birthday present?
Well, it was timely.
Timely. Okay. Well, I am pleased to have this opportunity to honor Port Orange President Hewitt DuPont, who has generously contributed to the Rotary Foundation and in so doing has achieved the second level of major donor status. Because of Hewitt's dedication to our foundation, we honor him with the Major Donor 2 level recognition pin.
Thank you, Jeanette. And it is unexpected.
I was trying to surprise you. So thank you, Hewitt, for your support, for your generosity. You have given others the opportunity to have clean water, to have books to read, and education, a future. And hopefully by so doing, we can help increase the peace and the harmony that we enjoy throughout the world because of your generosity. So Hewitt, please accept our congratulations. Your gift inspires others to give not just of their treasure, but of their time and their talent. In recognition of your investment in the Rotary Foundation, wonderful projects and programs, I hope you know how much that the Rotary Foundation and its trustees and the members of this world appreciate your generosity. Thank you, Hewitt.
Thank you, Jeanette. Thank you.
So you stay. Deborah, come on up here with me. So this is, if I put this on, can you still hear me? Because we're getting crowded here. Okay. So this is such an extreme honor to be here with you all and everybody on Zoom. The highest donor recognition level that the trustees of the Rotary Foundation bestows is the Arch Clump Society. Named after the founder of the Rotary Foundation and past Rotary International president, Arch Clump. Members of the Arch Clump Society have made contributions of a minimum of $250,000. So this is a significant investment in the future of our world and the confidence in our Rotary Foundation. Today, it is my extreme honor and privilege to recognize the two newest members of the Arch Clump Society. DS and Angela Patel. Accepting for DS and Angela are their fellow Rotarians, President Hewitt and Foundation Chair, past President Deborah. They have been instrumental in helping DS over the years and most recently during some more difficult times. But over the years, you need to know that DS and Angela are huge and always have been huge supporters of the Rotary Foundation. They give because they believe in the causes that we represent. They give with their hearts. They give because they believe that their donations will make this world a better place for the citizens of the world, for the children of the world. They give because they know that their money is entrusted with the Rotary Foundation
and it's giving people an opportunity to read and to write, to be able to provide for their families. They believe in the causes. They believe in each one of you here, each one of you on Zoom, to carry out the missions of the Rotary Foundation. I can't extend our thanks enough to DS and Angela for their generosity, most recently, but throughout the many years in which they've supported the Rotary Foundation. You are amazing individuals. You are among a select group of humanitarians around the world who have committed themselves to service above self, to serving others and doing good in our world. So I hope you will give this gift to DS and Angela. I know they're planning to come by the club, hopefully on Tuesday, to collect it themselves. If you guys could open those so everybody could enjoy what they look like, because we all may not get to that level of giving, although we may try, right? Okay. On behalf of the Rotary Foundation trustees and the citizens of our world, the children of our world, DS and Angela, thank you from the bottom of my heart, from the bottom of their hearts. God bless you.
DS is an awesome Rotarian, but
wanna say a few words?
I could. Thank you. Okay. DS is an awesome Rotarian, but DS and Angela together are quite an inspiration. We are very fortunate to have him in the club. DS was president several years ago, and he has inspired a lot of us to become major donors. And I think by this, I think you'll see more giving from our club.
Well, I look forward to seeing DS and Angela on Tuesday, because I will be there just to share in their celebration and appreciation for everything they've done.
Go talk in the mic.
I will be there on Tuesday to thank them in person and to express our appreciation for their dedication to Rotary and to making our world a better place. So thank you very much. Thank you both.
I need to leave this with you.
Okay, and next up, I am introducing Awards Chair Dean Scott. Is that right?
Thank you, past District Governor Jeanette. My able assistant, Catherine Battenhorst, is here as well. Yes, bring on the applause. Thank you, thank you. I'm going to correct these hanging earbuds here. Past District Governor Mike Dara was all about member engagement and keeping Rotary, a member organization, strong through having members taking action, doing good in the world, and having fun and fellowship while they do it. That path is a very attractive path. Engaged members, having fun, having fellowship, doing good in the world. That begets more members who then can have the ability to take more action in the world, have more fun. That begets even more members. That keeps Rotary vital and strong. Towards that end, past District Governor Mike wanted to develop a program where we could recognize good works being done throughout District 6970. That gave birth to the Area Focus Awards. It was my pleasure to chair the awards committee for District Governor Mike, and we received 18 project nominations from 8 different clubs representing 6 different areas of our district. So today we're here to recognize the top 9 projects that represent outstanding exemplary works being done in Rotary 6970. The first project I'm pleased to announce is Hurricane Dorian Relief Rotary Club of St. Augustine, Congratulations to the club president 2019-2020 Peggy Gachet and Dan Hilbert, who assisted with the application. This project provided medical relief for hurricane-ravaged areas of the Bahamas by supporting an emergency health clinic in Hopetown with staff and funding. So congratulations to the Rotary Club of St. Augustine. Catherine Battenhorst has your banner. The next project that we would like to recognize is Water Project Cerro Verde, Honduras, from the Rotary Club of South Jacksonville. Congratulations to Club President 2019-2020 B4 and Greg Anderson, who assisted with this application. This project was a collaborative design and construction of a sustainable water supply system to 50 homes in a remote Central American village. So, past District Governor Mike, would you mind accepting the Area Focus Award for Clean Water, Sanitation, and Hygiene for the Rotary Club of South Jacksonville? Our third project today, Rise Against Hunger, Rotary Club of Amelia Island Sunrise. Congratulations to Club President 2019-2020 Jody Henson and Club Member Dan Westra for helping with this application. This project organized 300 volunteers to pack 59,000 meals for distribution to people in need around the world. If Art Schuster wouldn't mind accepting this banner on behalf of the Rotary Club of Amelia Island Sunrise Area Focus Award for Saving Mothers and Children. Our fourth project today, Barnabas Meal Pack and Senior RX Food Program, Rotary Club of Amelia Island Sunrise. Congratulations again to past President Jody Henson and Dan Westra, club member, for putting together this great application. This project delivered fresh food and sundries once a week to 50 local families and senior citizens in need. Again, accepting for the Rotary Club of Amelia Island Sunrise, Art Schuster. Fighting disease. Our fifth project, Downtown Fit Loop, Rotary Club of Downtown Ormond Beach. Congratulations to Brandon Perry, Club President 2019-2020, and Frank Gans, who was President-elect that year. This project enhanced public parks with fitness equipment and shade structures for public use, facilitating enhanced public health. Congratulations to the Rotary Club of Downtown Ormond Beach, accepting as District Governor-elect Rich Cooper. Our sixth project, Fostering Early Act Programs in Schools, Rotary Club of Amelia Island Sunrise. Third time congratulations to past President Jody Henson and Dan Westra. This project initiated early act programs in a local elementary school that has taught leadership and service principles to nearly 75 young boys and girls. This program has led to the formation of an Interact Club at the local middle school. So please put your hands together for Rotary Club of Amelia Island Sunrise, supporting education, fostering early act programs in schools. Thank you, Art. These next three projects were the ones our committee considered to be the most exemplary projects in the district. So it's my pleasure to announce the Rotary Oratory Competition from the Rotary Club of South Jacksonville is one of these projects. Congratulations to B4 Club President 2019-2020 and Greg Anderson, who assisted with this application. This project provided research, composition, and presentation opportunities to high school seniors in the 5-county area of Florida's First Coast. Exemplary student orators were awarded with college scholarship assistance. Rotary Oratory Competition, Rotary Club of South Jacksonville, supporting education. Accepting is past District Governor Mike Dara. Our next project, Beaches Health Jam, Rotary Club of Jacksonville, Oceanside. Congratulations to Clarence Hill, who was the club president 2019-2020. Also to Kathy Hagan, who was the president-elect 2020-2021, and Chris Hoffman, vice president 2020-2021. This project was a fun event with a health theme for underserved communities at the Jacksonville beaches. Beaches Health Jam, Rotary Club of Jacksonville Oceanside, accepting District Governor nominee Jeff Michaelman. Thank you, Jeff. Finally today, our 9th project, and the one that our committee considered to be one of the top projects in the district this year. Rotary Swim and Surf, making a splash in Flagler County. Rotary Club of Flagler Beach, promoting peace. Congratulations to Roy Seeger, Club President 2019-2020, to Roseanne Stocker, President-elect 2019-2020. This project provided swim, surf, and water safety lessons, as well as conflict resolution skills for children. Encouraged and provided means for minority and at-risk and economically disadvantaged youth to participate. So congratulations to the Rotary Club of Flagler Beach for their project, Rotary Swim and Surf, making a splash in Flagler County. Past District Governor Jeanette, would you mind accepting on their behalf? Flagler Beach, yes. All right, thank you very much. I'd like to thank the committee that helped with these selections, including past District Governor Bill Griffin, past District Governor Sean Asmuth, Becky Parker, Karen Hatch, Christina McLaughlin, and B4. I will turn it now back over to past District Governor Mike as we have a few individual awards. Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you, Dean. Dean's been a great right arm for me this year, helping him with the awards. It's the thing that, in my mind, recognizes what really makes Rotary great, which is great Rotarians and great clubs. So I have 2 last awards that we're going to do. They're the highest awards that our district can give. I'll talk about the first one first. The Al Watson Award, and if you'll show what the Al Watson, just briefly show on the screen, what it says the Al Watson Award is. You have that keyed up? The Al Watson Award, and I'm reading this backwards on this screen, is the quiet hero. Someone who works out of the spotlight, someone who helps build the community, and someone who does this work with joy year after year. So I will ask someone else to read that, because literally I'm reading the words backwards here, and I'm not dyslexic. This would be, well, that's not dyslexic. Pardon? That's on the iPad. Great. Actually, I don't see that here. It says 5 minutes. So let me just tell you about this person. I got this letter from someone who, as a new member, had had somebody meet him, led him through all the websites, led him through everything, the Rotary history, what the club did. And 3 years later, this person was president of the club. That speaks volumes about bringing in a member of a large club. This person also has been a Rotarian for, I'm not going to say how many years, because that'd give it away, but hosted group study exchange, led a group study exchange, which was an exchange of folks for about 4 weeks, where they went over to another country. And those 4 non-Rotarians got a great experience in those other countries. Co-founded and facilitated the development of, and this is going to give it away, the Dictionary Project and Bowling for Literacy in her community, where they distributed 3,000 dictionaries every year and had a great bowling event to raise the funds for it. Stetson University women's basketball, Girls on the Run, DeLand's Fall Festival. I could list you a whole host of awards she has won. And I can just tell you, when I know that I need to know something about somebody, or about something, particularly about protecting our kids on our district, which is really important, I turn to this person. And that person, if she will come up, is Karen Weiss. Up on this side, Karen. So As I said, her name, you can't tell this, but I so appreciate what she has done, particularly for making certain that every kid that comes to our country and every kid that goes overseas has someone who is extremely knowledgeable about these kids who are in this really tenuous teenage years. They come here at their most impressionable stage, a time when they could really get in trouble. And she helps those kids and helps all of us figure out what do we need to do and what's the right thing to do. This year, that was greatly appreciated. So Karen, thank you for everything you do. And I am sorry, this is not socially distanced, but I am going to give at least a side hug because she has done a great job. And Karen, here is the award that I have been scared to death I was going to drop. It's solid glass. So we have a cushioned box here. If you want me to hand it over there, and she will bring it around to you. So thank you, Karen.
Mike, can I say a couple words?
Yes.
As
a voice. Yes, God, give us.
This is Larry Drum. As being that person that became president of his club just a little over 3 years of being a member, Karen was a huge influence in everything that I do in Rotary. And I'm so honored and humbled that she was chosen for this award. Karen, I love you and congratulations.
And I will say, Karen, I know Larry, and for him to have had a positive influence, that was really important. So thank you, Karen. So, okay.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you so much. And thank you, Mike. And this is the highest award I've ever received. And it's a really great birthday present for me tomorrow.
Hey, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
So, you know, I love Rotary. Those of you who know me know I love Rotary. So it's nice to know that Rotary loves me too. This is really amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Karen. Bring that around. And I have one last award to give. It's the Brent Williams Service Leader Award. So if you'll flash up what that is. And I cannot read that on this. I don't know why I can't see this. So I'm going to slip around here to the side and read the Service Leader Award. Must demonstrate exemplary servant leadership in at least 2 of Rotary's areas of service with an emphasis on helping others. Those of you who know Brent Williams know Brent was recognized in his club, in his district, and his zone, and at Rotary International for continuously finding ways to lead and make a significant difference. This individual, who is getting the Brent Williams Spirit of Rotary Award, has been a Rotarian for 12 years, had a parent who was a Rotarian, was an assistant governor, also RLI grad, heavily involved with Rotary Means Business, hosted exchange students, has gotten a variety of awards, food drive, even when COVID hit, found a way to make things work, was actually a panel member earlier today because of ways, constantly finding ways to evolve and figure out, yeah, we've had something happen to our club and to Rotary and to all of us. How can I help? How can we change what we do? Her business suddenly was in, nobody was, quite frankly, catering things. So she found a way to give all that food to folks that needed that food. And the final thing that I'll mention to you, not just in the way of giving in terms of helping in service projects and in donating, but the other thing was intentional about membership and found a way to actually found her club. So always looking for those opportunities. Our current secretary of our district, 6970, Noni Larson, could you come up? Noni, the folks have, actually the previous folks that got this said, we'd like to figure out how to make it even better. So they redesigned it for you this year so that you can actually read what is on this from Brent Williams. But thank you for the spirit of Brent Williams and carrying that on in our district, even after Brent is gone. Thank you. So thank you. And I'm going to do a side hug with you too. I am really sorry, but thank you. Do you want to say anything?
This is a total shocker. And I could no more be someone like Brent, but I try every day. He was a dear, dear friend. And just thank you. I can't say anything else.
So thank you, Noni. I'm sorry? Oh, okay. Thank you, Naomi. And there's one other person that I want to thank, and I'm sure the next person who's going to tail up. I want to thank Mother Marie over here, who has kept us all together and through subterfuge was able to bring in both Noni and obviously other people and Karen without them having any idea, and getting them in the room where we have 15 people so that they have been the applause in the background and also will help us distribute many of these awards that you've seen. So Mother Marie, thank you.
Hang on. Okay, wow, two well-deserved awards. The future of District 6970 is in very good hands with folks like Noni and Karen, and I think Marie, y'all will survive me and it'll be okay. I'd be very amiss before we close and not recognizing and thanking Mike Dara for his service last year. He wasn't able to have a Dipster conference. We have this joint effort between my year and Mike's to share the wealth and get some awards out. Mike, we have a nice bottle of Turnbull wine available for you here. It starts off a little harsh, but you can develop a little bit of a taste for it after a while. So thank you all for joining us today. God bless you all. Stay safe. Have a good rest of the day.